The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
Wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch. Be bad, play the game, get mad and change. Then you wonder why these motherfuckers call your name. And that's why they called you bitch. I betcha.
Mag.
And that's why they called you bitch.
And cultures like the bitches.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Long time listener, first time caller.
First time
Caller.
First time caller.
After downloading the free Discord app, use the invite link in the description or scan this QR code with your phone to be taken to the Beyond Wednesdays Discord server.
First time listener, long time caller.
There you will see the Modern Comic Mayhem category on the left with the call-in waiting room. Join that call-in waiting room, set up your camera and your mic, and have your questions ready.
Call me now!
What is good, everybody? We are ready to go tonight. We have some interesting guests and some great guests. A lot of fun tonight. I'm getting the OBS reset up after the computer change, which is kind of a pain in the neck. Hey, but we're going to continue to rock with it. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. We got a great show tonight. We got 66 live at the beginning of the show. We're starting an hour early, you guys. Hour early tonight with the change. Listen, we're going to start it off with two amazing guests who I believe just got done rocking out to Metallica live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dan Mendoza and Bryan Polito. Look at this.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Pantera and Megadeth.
Metallica.
Pantera too.
I feel like I need to change this a little bit so you can see the Iron Maiden in the back.
I love it. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So
Thanks for having us, guys. No, on short notice, but we're like, hey man, what's up?
How was the concert?
Awesome, was it? Oh,
The concert was amazing.
it was awesome, man. Yeah.
Well, it was. We got there for Pantera and Metallica.
Yeah. Perfect.
And I've seen Pantera many times, and I've seen Phil, the singer, with his other bands like Down, Superjoint Ritual, and he is usually an unhappy guy.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, he was very happy inside, filling up that stadium. His voice was very monstrous and filled that stadium.
Man. Yeah, it filled the whole stadium.
Do you want a happy Phil Anselmo when you're watching him in concert? Because I want a ferocious Phil Anselmo. And let me ask you, because I saw him play here in Texas about, I think in August.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't play Cemetery Gates, and I was told they don't play Cemetery Gates anymore because of Dimebag and Benny Paul and everything that's happened. Did they play Cemetery Gates tonight?
They did not play Cemetery Gates. They ended with Cowboys from Hell. And they also did not play Planet Caravan. They typically cover that Sabbath song.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phil was very happy. I mean, he was like very grateful and very thankful. He was ferocious.
Yeah, and he'd be like,
did he play Walk?
He'd be like,
because if he's ferocious, then Walk has all the power coming through. Yeah, that's Phil. Yeah.
I love
and
it.
Metallica really brought it. They were super on point.
Yeah.
For me, we're like music nerds over here, so we're discussing what really got us. And for me, it was Orion. That just really got me. And for some reason, it's The Day That Never Comes. which was that off of Death Magnetic, maybe. In any event, I don't know why it just really hit me emotionally, and it was the standout for me. How about for you, Dan?
Fuck, man. I didn't think that Master of Puppets would be so impactful, but just the visuals, like of what they were playing on the prompter and everything like that. It was inspiring to do a homage cover.
Did they play Sanitarium? Because number 6 is my favorite.
They haven't yet.
No.
Okay.
So we'll see. You know, we have tomorrow. I guess on my wish list for tomorrow, I really want to hear Trapped Under Ice, and I want to hear Whiplash and Four Horsemen. Like I'm really the old school early records guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ride
Dyer's Eve is always an underrated song on And Justice for All. Dyer's Eve is a great song, but you got fantastic.
Well, we're stoked. We're not like super stoked on the openers for tomorrow.
Who's opening?
It's Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills. And
I'll be shopping for apparel around that spot. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. For me, I don't know. What can I say?
I hear you. Well, what's the? It's cool that you guys got to go do that, and you're going tomorrow night. But what you guys are coming on for is a pretty epic event that's happening right now.
Its own right.
Yeah, in its own right. The Lady Death vs. Zombie Tramp Kickstarter. This is pretty epic. Whoo, look at that. Beautiful. So tell us about this. How long has this been in ready to go? How long you guys been talking about this? What's the deal?
Woo. We've been talking about this for years, and it would come to fruition, and then it would not. It would dissipate. But make the long story short, the moment I got the rights back to Zombie Tramp, I received a phone call from Bryan Polito, and he's like, "Remember that crossover we talked about?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to do it now?" And I said, "Yeah." And then after that, it was just, let's put in the work and get it done.
Wow.
Yeah, and to offer you my perspective on that too, you got to understand, I have refused crossovers for 20 plus years.
From some big names too.
Very big names, dude.
Yeah.
Like there was one I may or may not have disclosed, like huge, and I was just like, yeah, too much work. But but I really respect Dan as a publisher and what he's about. We got to know each other very well, and we're both publishers of we're independent style publishers who call our own shots. But I have nothing but respect for what Dan does, how he does it, his ethics, etc. So when it came time to do something like this, it was very easy for me to say yes, because I feel like I could completely trust Dan with my character.
Yeah. I think one of the first things when me and Bryan were getting to know one another throughout the years was his approach to me about the how he loved my work ethic, and how when I say something's going to get done, it fucking gets done.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big plus for doing this crossover. We said it was going to get done, and this is when the campaign was going to launch, and I made it happen.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. A lot of weekends.
Well, one of the things we've already kissed Bryan's ass about how us collectors love what he does with his IPs and how he does things, especially for the collectors at mine. And we one of the things that we talk about a lot on this channel is secondary markets and seeing prices on that. And Dan, I got to say, we do a Hot 10 show where we talk about just crazy sales that might have happened that week, and your early stuff is always popping up once a month for crazy sales. You have fans out there that are just as rabid as Coffin Comics fans and Lady Death fans. It's absolutely amazing to see you guys work together. Can you talk a little bit about how you feel about the collector when you're doing this stuff?
How I feel about the collector?
Yeah.
Much respect to collectors that love it for the stories or that love it for the art. We love them just the same. When I'm making something, I keep to how it was from day one when I made Zombie Tramp #1 was I'm gonna make something that I think is cool, and since I found my audience that are like-minded like me, I know that that once I put it out, that those collectors are gonna feel the same way about when it comes out. So
yeah, you guys do a great job of also in this campaign of spotlighting some great artists also. So
we got a lot of veterans from the Zombie Tramp side and a lot of veterans from the Coffin Comics side on this campaign. So I wanted to mix it up.
Bill McKay, of course, and you'll notice too. Right now, you're going through the cute versions of the covers.
Yes.
And the same cover editions will have a kinky version as well.
Yes. Yep.
Elias Jadzouis, a frequent contributor to Coffin Comics.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
El Sevilla.
El Sevilla, man.
Sevilla. So beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, I would also acknowledge Dan as an art director as well. It's easy to just think of him as the creative mastermind, but really it takes a certain amount of taste and etiquette to kind of pull this class of creator together with a really unique eye. Here we have Arizona's own Mike DiBalfo, a great crossover cover artist for both companies.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful come hither look from Lady Death and this kind of like dismissive, cute, but come to me look from Zombie Tramp. So great.
Yes. Mike is one of our favorites.
Torella.
Ooh. Wow.
Now this is Mike McComb. It's another.
That's a Zombie Tramp veteran in his own right, man. Is the great Mike McComb / Pool Boy came on this, and he just like, I gotta just give it my all. This is you can't go wrong with the Zong. This is the Zong brothers, who are a big part of the Still Ill Comics family. They are interior artists. They are colorists. They are animators, man, and we got a lot going on with these two guys for 2024 and on.
And in fact, if you look at the official video for this Kickstarter, they were the animators, and it's quite remarkable. It's attracted a lot of attention.
The fact that two guys put together this animation in 6 months' time is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. So, when does this start, Alan Qua? Oh, wow, that's excellent.
So we're right in 9 days into this campaign.
We are about 9 days in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's right under $200,000.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Our goal would be in excess of $300,000.
So which tier do I have to hit to come party with you guys at Metallica?
Dude, just come out, man. The first beer is on us.
I mean, in Detroit, we hit the Red Wings game, then we hit Metallica.
Animation, because it really is exceptional.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. This is great. So we dropped a link in the chat, and also we're going to drop a link in the description for anybody that wants to check it out. Listen, I've talked about it before. I talk about it all the time. One of the great things about Coffin Comics is they send out these text messages for anything they're doing, and it really helps. It keeps you on the ball, and you're going to miss out on a lot of the stuff if you're not doing that. So make sure you guys go check that out. And well, we'd love to have you guys on anytime. Brian, he knows he's always welcome. Dan, we appreciate you. This is absolutely amazing stuff.
Thank you. Hey, for fun, would you mind playing that video for your customers? Because it really is exceptional.
100%. Let's do it. Here we go.
Thank you. Yeah, check it out.
Welcome, Still Ill fans, and greetings to you, Coffin Comic fans. This is been in the making for a while, for a long time coming, and we are pleased to finally present it to you. This is Lady Death versus Zombie Tramp. Who will win? I don't know. You gotta get it, you gotta read it. So without further ado, let's check out this awesome trailer presented to you from the animation skills of the Zong brothers. Stay ill.
That's badass right there. That you guys do this that they threw this in there. I love seeing these like stats like this and all the information. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick.
all you got? You look like you're ready to die.
Check out Zombie Tramp stats.
Incredible.
Stats.
I love it, man.
Lick my boots, dead girl.
Yeah, that was sick. That was super badass, man. Hell yeah. That'd be great to see maybe some future projects with them. Maybe that could be something that could happen.
Who knows?
Who knows, man? The future is not yet set.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys jumping on, and like I said, this is super cool, and like we're always talking about you guys' properties and your books on these shows and this channel, so it's nice to have you guys come on. I already brought this up with Bryan. We asked him about it at a couple shows, but I always got to ask. I'm going to be doing this a couple times tonight. I always got to ask creators whenever they come on their very first professional works, and if they ever had anything that was like published, like when you were a kid. A lot of guys used to send letters into comics or art into magazines or fanzines. Dan, can you tell us your first professional work and if you ever had anything before that?
A lot of hardcore Dan Mendoza fans know about this. I had my work published in an issue of Savage Dragon when he held that contest to who's going to fight Savage Dragon. I was one of the runners up, and in the back of the book he put pictures of the runners up, and I had a character called Crimson Spade, and it made the back of the book. Man, it was awesome. So people bring that to me at shows, and I sign it on the back with the little drawings and stuff. It's fun.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
What issue was that?
I can't remember offhand, but yeah, it was like you'll know it's the Savage Dragon where he's fighting like a lobster man that looks like Popeye on the cover. It's been a while since someone's asked me that question. I used to remember the number, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay, well, we're gonna have to add it to the list. We have a list over here that we put out for the crowd. Cool. Anybody out there? It's the creator first list. We have all these creators and all their creator first. So we're gonna add it to the list
somewhere. I got my copy somewhere with my private collection, and I had Eric Larson sign it and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, I had a drawing in the back. He goes, was it Prick? And I was like, no, it wasn't Prick. And he's like, oh, I love that character Prick. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we got a lot of people in the chat that are loving it. Shout out to Dave's Collection, says, I got to get this book. Will it ever make it to Midtown Comics? Well, it's a Kickstarter campaign. Is there a chance it could show up in...
Yeah, we have plans to put it in the Diamond catalog in 2025. So
nice, hell yeah!
With 6 cover variants.
Nice. Okay, so the question is Bryan in Detroit or are you in AZ?
No one truly knows.
This might be a clue.
Yeah.
Shout out to Billy at Economics and Comics with the emojis and the $1.99 super chat. One of the OGs.
Absolutely, big up to the one and only man.
Comics, man.
He is one sick person.
Jesse James Comics in the house. Shout out to Jesse, my mentor.
Big shout out to Jesse. Thank you so much for everything, Maestro.
Wonderworld Comics. Shout out to Wonderworld's in the chat. We also got shout out to Jeffrey Drake, Frank Garcia, Awesome Sauce Radio, Luis Mendoza, all the people that hang out with us every week. We appreciate you guys.
Nice.
Yeah, super cool. All right, we're gonna drop the link one more time for you guys to go check out the Kickstarter, and of course you're already big fans if you're watching this, most likely. Like I said, a lot of us over in this community and in this world are huge Bryan Pulido, Dan Mendoza fans already, and we already got Dan Mendoza fans saying that is Savage Dragon
number 10.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. And Zabit is a Savage Dragon fan. So Lord of Brooklyn says just backed. Hell yeah! If any of you guys
Awesome.
end up back in this project, make sure to leave a comment in the YouTube, and we'll do a giveaway for everybody that backs it and leaves a comment next week.
Thank you.
So,
Heck yeah, we'll back it up. Coffin Comics is going to swag you guys and gals up so that you have some cool stuff to give away. We'll make sure it gets in your hands. No problem.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys. Everybody out there, the Lord of Brooklyn says $33 well spent.
The Lord of Brooklyn.
Well, hey, we don't want to keep you guys too long because we know you guys are you still got some time to party. So
we got to catch the limo. It's true, man. There's a whole town to burn down.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, Dan,
Well,
Bryan,
thank you so much
appreciate
for
you.
the opportunity. Let me just let you know that from Coffin Comics, we have some pretty fun plans afoot. First up, coming February 23rd, 4th, and 5th is Swornfest. Over 15 guests associated with Coffin Comics converge into the Mesa Convention Center. Guests including Dan Mendoza himself, locals like Mike DiBalfo, international superstars like Sun K will all be at Swornfest, a Coffin Comic-centric event. Also, that will feature the first ever tours of New HQ. Actually, starting this Tuesday, Coffin Comics begins the process of moving to our new headquarters a mile away from our current headquarters. And it's true. What you're looking at right now is our store. We are featuring currently a Hell Witch Bitchcraft Kickstarter. It is a crucial storyline. I encourage you and implore you to back it now. It is a queue-up story that sets the stage for everything for 2024 in our massive company-wide storyline called Hellageddon. But that's not all. I know who I'm talking to. I just have to let you know that we have covers coming up by some of the finest in the business. It is radical. I wish I can give you a hint, but I can't. But what I can say is you're going to be happy. Just like you, I am a fan. It is so great to hire folks that I adore, whose work is remarkable to me, and have them render the character.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. Dan, what's coming up for you?
Whew. We got the 15-year anniversary of Zombie Tramp is all of 2024. So she is going to be making of the 4 campaigns that we run on Kickstarter. She will be making her cameo appearance. She'll be making her first appearance in an issue of Sad Girl Psycho Baby in the first quarter, which is around February. And then in the spring, we got Zombie Tramp versus Sugar Pop, which is our 2 biggest characters in the Still Ill Comics universe. And then we're going to do the final issue of Cannibal Kitty with a huge appearance of Zombie Tramp in that book. And then we're going to finish off the year with the first ever Zombie Tramp action figure campaign. So.
Nice.
There's a lot going over here with these independent comic publishers.
Yep. That's what we love. We love it. So appreciate you guys. We'll drop the links for everything, and we'll be in touch, and have a great night. Adios.
You too. Thank you so much for the opportunity, guys. Have a great night.
Later, guys.
You too.
Damn, that was dope. That was super cool. I love
How
that.
great are those fucking guys?
Yeah, dude, that was awesome, bro. Love to see people
Bryan,
enjoying themselves, man.
Look at their Kickstarter. I mean, everything successful. I mean, it just blows past the stuff they've got. Like, and after seeing that video, holy shit, man,
dude,
wow.
That animation was unreal.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
it reminded me of the Castlevania from Netflix, which I think they had some of the guys from Voltron do, like top notch.
Now, now I got to figure out our chat setup, so it's not going to look so great, but we're gonna keep it moving. I keep on telling everybody I had to totally do a reset on all my computers and everything, and man, it's rough when you've got so much time put into creating shows and you can't.
I was about to say you've had to do a couple of different things with the OBS stuff.
Yeah, man, it's been quite crazy, dude. lately. All right, let me see here. How do we want to?
You know, there's a guy for that, and he said he was around my house somewhere. I think we have our own IT guy, but he's never around when you need him.
Yeah, I know, dude.
He'll show up like after he's partied down a little bit, and like, oh, did you need help with that?
All right, I think I got it. We'll see here. So shout out to Jeffrey Dake that says Dan and Bryan are awesome dudes. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I agree. All right, I think we got it. We got man, what a great way to start off the night. That was fucking cool. And we're starting earlier than we normally do. We're an hour early today. So I was really hoping to get most of the guys that were on the Hot 10 show last Friday to come on. I know, you know, it was a absolutely crazy show. I'm gonna bring it up because just to show you guys kind of what we're talking about. Shout out to the House of Stein, one of the best in the game. Make sure you guys are subbed up to the House of Stein YouTube
the original,
channel.
The only Hot 10.
Yeah, the OG. And there we go. Let's do this. So as you guys can see, this was November 3rd. We did a show. It's about 3,000 views. The comments were crazy. There was over 2,000 chat comments, I believe, during the live show. Absolutely awesome. Great to have all you guys, you know, dropping information and stuff. But the big book, of course, was Black Riding Hood. It was the number one, not last night, but last week. And, you know, dude, we didn't know much about this book. Stein had, basically what he did was he put in our group chat, he said, hey, have you guys heard of this book? And I said, I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it, you know? And he said, I'm going to put it on the list. You know, what do you guys think? I said, hell yeah. I don't see any problem with ever putting a book on the list. And, you know, Stein's just one of the nicest guys in the game, and he's one of the most respected, and he's always asking, you know, what we think and this and that on stuff like that for the show. And he's always put quote unquote controversial books in the list. And I'm going to bring up, hold on one second, guys. He always puts controversial books in the list. He's put controversial, quote unquote, controversial books in the list in the past, including the what was it? White and black books, I believe, were both on there. There was some pretty controversial covers with those. He put in the Acetate Gate book that was on that we all know was a big deal. That was a pretty big deal, and that was, I think, number one that week that it dropped. It was number one on the list, just like Black Riding Hood was, which was, you know, very interesting. I apologize, you guys. I'm trying to set something up as we're talking here. So a lot of people, you know, left comments and said this and that, and here we go. What up, Ant? What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
You guys know how it works around here. We have people jumping in throughout the show, so we're gonna have people jumping in and out throughout the show. It's probably gonna be more people joining. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. You guys doing all right?
Yeah, you just missed Bryan Pulido and Dan Mendoza. Just
watching.
Oh, dude, that was crazy, right? Coming from a Metallica and a Pantera show.
I was waiting for Ant to say, like, I know those guys.
I know those guys. I know.
Yeah, I work with those guys all the time. If you wanted to, I could introduce you to them.
Right? I know people. I know some things.
How you doing, brother? How's everything going? You just got back from Disneyland, right?
We did. We did Disneyland. It was amazing.
So let me ask you: did you go for the vacation, or you went and now you're going to go on a vacation?
Right. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So Yeah, everybody's always like, "Did you have a really great time?" And first off, absolutely, it was fantastic. But they forget like the responsibilities of the dad with kids. So I do the 6-hour drive at 4:00 in the morning. We get there, and the kids are like, "That was an easy drive." They slept the whole way in the bed.
Oh, sorry, Ant, did y'all go to Disneyland or Disney World? Y'all went to Disneyland. Okay.
Yeah, because we're on the West Coast, so easy little drive over. And then we hit all the rides and do all the things, get back late, pick up dinner, drive them home the next day. And they're like, that was a great trip. And I'm just exhausted. I need a day off.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's a problem with being a dad. I'm glad I'm not one that I know of yet.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but the guy who runs around here kind of looks like you. His hair's a little longer.
Yeah.
Getting a little tougher. I'm like, it's not
I
me.
saw him. I saw him getting ready for Christmas already. He's ready for Christmas.
Yeah,
dude, Lord's got the tree up here.
Oh wow!
I'll believe it.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
The tree is up.
Best time of year. Best time of year, dude. My mom is the type of person that decorates for every holiday, like even the shitty ones. And when she decorates, she even decorates, like she'll go as far as decorating with candy. She'll buy certain candies that you can only put out during the
mom.
Right, dude? So one of my
seriously?
favorite all-time Christmas decorations, or when it comes to Christmas time, is mom starts putting out those little rock candies. Have you guys ever had those? They're called rock candies, and they're like little Christmas rock candies. They're called, and they got like little pictures in them. Yeah, I gotta show you. I'm gonna show you what they are, just because I'm going off on a stone tangent.
Our family puts out they put out the Christmas ale, because it's a lot easier to deal with people the more booze you have in you.
These right here.
The Christmas ale. Oh
no,
Yeah.
never seen those.
Yeah, dude, these are the best.
Oh, I mean, I know rock candy, but I've not seen it. Like,
is it like a
I haven't
taffy?
seen those in forever. Like a little, like when I was like a kid.
Ribbon candy. Thank you, Wonderworld. Appreciate that. That's what it is. Ribbon
But
candy.
I haven't seen it for Christmas.
I call it rock candy because it's called cut rock. Cut rock. And bro, these are the best fucking candies in the world, man. The best.
Tell you what, though, I made my first batch of tamales to get ready for December.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I got to try your tamales, dude. I haven't tried them yet.
Dude, they're going to be so good this year, because usually my first batch on a scale of 1 to 100, I usually land in that 60, 70% like really good mark. These were like an 80 off the back. Like I was dialed in. And Laura's like, these are really, really good, but they're not. And I'm like, I know, but I'm already dialed in. So the next batch going to December is going to be good stuff.
All right, so you educate me. Like, you make them a certain way or a certain time of year. Like I'm thinking like barbecue. Like, is there a certain way you do it? Like, just I don't think I've even honestly ever had a tamale.
It's just a seasonal thing. Usually around November, December, we start making them, but everything's from scratch. So it's kind of, you got to dial it in. Like Mexican masa is really easy to make dry.
Okay.
So it looks right, and then you cook it, and you're like, shit, I messed up 25 tamales. Yeah, so, and it's one of those things, like if you had a grandmother that made them, and you go, I need the recipe, there's no recipe. It was like a dash of this.
Yeah, they just made the best.
Splash of that, and they can't write anything down. So you just got to dial in the vibe, and like, okay, that felt good. That was a good pour. Yeah.
Not bad. I don't know where these sounds are coming from. I've got these weird sounds that are being played like 3 or 4 times.
Is it an echo or a sound effect?
It's a sound effect.
No, it's
I think
Echo, because Joe's such a big fan of the Echo series coming out, so he's probably already pushing it out. So Red Hood, just the Echo vibes.
Nice.
What is that? That's weird. That's not what's that? I mean, like, these are weird things right here. I don't know what they are. We're going to turn those off for now. All right. That's what happens when you have to change all this stuff up. All right, there we go. All right, so back to my story.
Yep.
So on the Hot 10 last week, the number 1 book was Black Riding Hood, the Malin cut. John Malin, creator. Let me bring this back up. And part of the Comicsgate crew over there. And I talked about Comicsgate, a little bit during this, and, told people, go Go check out comicsgate.org. A lot of great creators over there. A lot of great creators who are doing it on their own. They're, a lot of crowdfunding projects, self-published stuff, which is very important in my opinion, especially these days. And I put out a post on IG where just saying, hey, we talked about this book, and I asked the question at the end of the IG. I said, is this a conversation we should even be having? And basically, here's the deal. So this book is catching a lot of heat because it uses the N-word in it a couple times. It's not like 9-10 times like everybody's saying. That's ridiculous. It's, I think, 2 times. As a matter of fact, I am going to play another YouTuber's video right now for everybody, just because she actually reads the book, there's only a couple pages in it. And so I want everybody, before we get into the show tonight with John and Ethan when they show up, I want everybody to actually just know what the book is, before we have the conversation, okay? So let's get into this. This is actually pretty cool. Shout out to John for letting her do this. Abra's 2 cents. John actually tweeted this out for everybody to see. This is Abra's 2 cents. Go ahead and subscribe. She, I don't know much about her, but she reads this book and puts up the pages for everybody. So let's check it out. Here we go.
Detroit, I remember it was cold. Detroit, I remember it was cold. Hold up, little nigga. You Jesse's kid, right? Yeah, I'm Darius. That's right. Darius, they call me Gumby. And me, your dads go way back. Nice to meet ya. Yo, why you here? I got to move some boxes.
So basically, to set this up for everybody, it's a take on Little Red Riding Hood, the famous story, but instead of in the woods in some, European old world, it's in Detroit, in the hood. Okay, and instead of Little Red Riding Hood, it's a young black male in Detroit in the hood. And this is the first page of the book that she's reading right here. And as you can see, here's the main character, and he's saying he's got something for his family member and this and that, and he's being stopped on the street by an older guy in the hood. So here we go. Let's continue.
Off the truck out back. Come give me a hand real quick. Give you $5. Sorry, I gotta get this suit to my granddad. He's sick. Jesse Sr.? That nigga's still alive? He still live in that house on Porter? Yeah, but I gotta go. Sorry. I'm already late, and I'm supposed to be home by dark. And the moon was full. Bad news. You're gonna be about 10 minutes later. New construction got Porter Street Bridge all jacked up. You taking that Michigan Avenue detour. Oh, I will, thanks. Beep boop. Ring ring. Yo, got fresh one, me too. Cool, we be starving, bro. Get those niggas on Porter. I'm gonna tell you an address when I get there.
So basically, these thugs, quote unquote thugs, or whatever you want to call them, these other guys, these older guys, are a pack of werewolves. Okay, and they just found their new meal.
There, we wildin' tonight. Knock knock. I'm coming. Can I help you? Yeah, your bitch ass can help me. Click. Don't scream. Snap. 10 minutes later. Knock knock. Pops, let me in. It's freezing out here, and I brought you some of Dad's world-famous chicken soup. Hey, come on, Pops. It's cold. Knock, knock. Pops, just a moment, Darius. No. Crack. 5 years ago, your son did me wrong. Things have been so good lately, I nearly forgot. Nearly. Now I'm gonna kill your whole bitch-ass family. Maybe your grandkid. I'm gonna eat a live asshole to appetite. I'm gonna eat a live asshole to appetite. I know. My mama always told me, don't play with the food. Well, you know what, Jesse? Mama dead. I killed her too. Forces of evil. Shapeshift this servant's form once more, so I may do your bidding.
So now he's shape-shifting into his grandfather's role.
Now, Darius, you gonna come to your dear sweet granddad's arms one more time. Oh yes, and I'll let your dad know how much you scream before I do the same to him. Moments later. Here you go, Pops. Hey, you okay? You look swole. You want me to call Dad? I heard that people can get so infected that they'll pop like a zit. Oh no, my boy. I'll be fine as soon as I get some food in me. It's been such a long day for your dear granddad. So lonely. Now let me look at you. What's the matter? Boy, give me that ass. Pops? Crash. Pops, no. No. Yes. Yo, man. Look at this run nigga right here. What we gonna do with this now? I want his balls. No way, Trey. Sorry, kid. Today just ain't your day. When delivering chicken soup at 10 p.m. in Detroit, Michigan, come prepared. Pop, 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 pop. Ah! Talk. Ah! He back in silver, yo? My dad taught me a lot. Hunting, kickboxing. You know, he even taught me chess. I used to hate all the after-school lessons. He said to know 2 things: when to run and when to fight. Let's do this. That night was punctuated with gold chains, blood, and lots of bullets. Darius, it's getting bad out there. I'm going to teach you to make and respect these. Your grandpa gave us all his silver for this. I see that you're afraid, so let's master what you fear together.
So you guys basically get what the gist of the story is, right? I mean, everybody out there, you get what the gist of the story is now. This is basically the end of it. It's only a few pages. Now, remember, this story was originally a story that was supposed to be in a little anthology book that Ethan was doing called Cool Story Bro. And when John sent the script to Ethan, Ethan was like, "Bro, we got to censor at least the N-words out of here." I think you used the N-word maybe 3 times in there that I heard. Was it 3 times, I think? And of course, you know, they did it. They censored it. But everybody, all the fans said, no, we want the uncensored version. Obviously, this is a book for adults. This isn't for kids. This is something. It's a lot darker than your normal Marvel, DC, stuff. It's meant to be dark. It's meant to be kind of funny and outrageous. And that isn't. I'll say this right now. At the start of this conversation and the way I'm feeling right now, I don't feel like that is bad at all. I don't feel like that's any problem. That story, the script, nothing. Now, everybody's going kind of crazy for the normal reasons that you guys all know and love. And one of the things during the Hot 10 that we did is we kind of talked about it without knowing the story. We didn't read it yet. And because of that, a lot of guys kind of, obviously joke about it. You guys know how we do things when we laugh and joke. And it was kind of funny because Ethan and John watched the show on the stream the next day, and you could totally tell. John's in the backstage. We're going to bring him on in a second here, but I just want to finish the story. You can kind of tell that they're just like us, where, how we goof on people that we watch videos of and this and that. They're kind of goofing on us, and it didn't feel mean or at all. It felt like they were one of us. So I want to make sure everybody knows none of us took it that way. We got a lot of comments about this and about whether we should platform them or whether we should have this conversation. And you guys know me. I want these conversations. I always want conversation. I'm never going to shy away from that. And the reason I always want conversation is because, to me, that's the most important thing. I always say, if anybody ever has an issue with me or something, I want them to contact me. I want to talk to them on the phone so that there's probably some misunderstanding along the roads. And just like that, with this situation, there's so much misunderstanding. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in John Malin. How you doing, brother?
Whoa. Hello.
It's good to see you, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad I can be here to clear this up.
Yeah. I don't even think you really need to clear it up, to be honest. I just, like I said, I don't think it's really that bad. I don't think it's a big issue.
No.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. It's not a big issue.
Yeah.
But people on your show who I don't think are here.
They're not here yet. They should.
A big issue.
They should be jumping on. Yeah. We started about an hour early. Yeah. I really want those guys to come in here. So that's the plan.
Me too.
Yeah. What did you think when you first saw it? Did you think that we were kind of I guess snowflake material?
Some people on the panel, I would say, willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Deceiving. I would say advocating violence against me. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's some snowflake. I think that's some real snowflake behavior.
Yeah, Mighty Mel V.
Yeah, so we have a real problem in the art community, and that's when people advocate violence against artists, creators, storytellers, writers, illustrators. You guys might remember Charlie Hebdo. 12 artists, 12 people in the publishing industry were murdered there.
Yeah.
So, and how that happens is the culture changes. When things are kind of brought up, like advocating low key violence against me.
Yeah.
And everybody more or less is kind of nodding their head at that, like, yeah, that's acceptable. It's acceptable
I'm trying to remember what Mel said that you kind of took as advocating. Yeah.
If I went to a comic convention and got punched in the face.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
They'd understand.
Yes.
They'd understand.
I remember that. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, other people are getting stabbed on stages for things that they say in books. Offenses to other cultures, races, people. None of which is justified. None of which. You want to look. If I come up to somebody, and also these guys, when I was talking willfully ignorant, they're like, oh yeah, if he came up to me and said that. I'm not coming up to people and calling them N-bombs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's not reality. But that's, it's like when people get in fights and then like they kind of riled themselves up and like, while they're beating someone, what'd you say about my mom? My mom? And like, no one ever brought up your mom, dude. But they're just trying to justify what they're doing to you by getting more and more angry. So it's a weird thing that goes on. Yeah, and they're basically putting up these scenarios where if I was out in the street saying these things to people, show me the evidence, like I'm deceptive or I'm hiding the fact that I'm dropping these things. I put it in printed page. There's no hiding anything. I can't deny that I wrote it. John Malin, that's my real name. There's no fake name there. There's nothing for me to hide. I'm not hiding behind an avatar. This is me. I'm the guy. Look, I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah, nobody does. Right?
I think that the culture is steering in a real disgusting way, and some of the conversation that was going on there really kind of validates that for me.
Yeah.
Where when people are kind of justifying, someone writes a bad word, punch them in the face.
Yeah.
Somebody offends you indirectly, punch them in the face. It's disturbing.
At the same time, I think it's very interesting because, if you read that book, you listen to her reading that book, you read it yourself. You don't. It's not what a lot of people during that show kind of took it. Like they thought it was gonna be like ridiculously like off color, maybe even racist in some way. I felt like that was kind of like the feeling with a lot of people. That's why I really wanted to play that her reading that book so people can understand.
It wasn't. But let me be clear on what I'm saying. If I had, or if anybody goes out there and writes whatever they want to write, let them fucking write it. Judge it by that context of what they're fucking doing. Like if I wanted to write a racist character and clearly, the problem that the one gentleman had was that I'm white. Almost everybody on there said that if I was black, hey, I kind of want to read this book.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read this book. But he's white. So let's find reasons to punch him in the face at a convention.
And to be honest, that is the main conversation that, I kind of want to have. And that's why I was hoping Mel was going to be on here with us. I really want to have that conversation, especially with you, because you're the writer of this. And this whole idea, I even brought it up during the Hot 10, this whole idea of, you have to be a certain color in order to write this word at all. And I brought up the Tarantino stuff, right? Yeah, it is. Let's be honest.
How about the entire nearly the entire history of cinema? How about that?
Yes. Yep.
Are we gonna go back and we're gonna punch everybody in the face?
Yeah.
Or worse.
Can I just add one thing? And John, maybe this brings a little color. So I went to a college up on the Upper West Side in New York, and I had a professor, and he was from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in grad school, and he used to say, "What do? You punch him in the face." Mel's from Queens. He's from New York. I don't think it's personal. I think it's just natural.
It's culture.
It's
culture. It's culture. If I come up to somebody, I'm like, hey, fat ass, I get it. I just provoked you. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what word I use. I intentionally provoked you.
Yeah.
That's the different thing. If I'm coming up to you and saying something, and we have to draw distinctions here, guys. We have to use the space in between our fucking ears here to draw distinctions on these things. Because otherwise you let culture run rampant, and then people are getting fucking punched or shot or stabbed over silly fucking things.
Yeah.
Language.
Yeah, but I guess the whole thing is like, Mel's a great guy. He's just a guy like people get along with, like anyone can relate to. So that's why.
I don't know, man.
John
doesn't know.
I can tell you.
Yeah, John doesn't know.
If he punched Stephen King in the face, he might not be so great.
It's not like I wouldn't go too far overboard about the phrase itself.
Yeah. What phrase? Me being punched in the face, or advocating violence against me for about 5 minutes on that stream.
So hold on. I want to jump in. Where are we starting this conversation off? Because I've got questions.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to, because believe me, I believe artistic freedom is a thing, and we shouldn't impose on it. But at the same time, did you have some type of vetting process for this? I mean, obviously, maybe it wasn't, and I could be wrong. Maybe this is how you grew up. You grew up around people like this that spoke like this. The terminology. Did you reference? Because I mean, I'm a Latin American. Somebody wants to write something that's very cultural and what's the word?
Jesus.
Somebody wants to talk about my culture and the stereotypes. Fine. A lot of stereotypes are there because they're true, but it would make it easier pill to swallow if somebody was referenced or asked. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to put some context.
I will never resort to having to justify anything I write or create by having to find somebody to give me a pass. Never.
Why are we not live? What's going on here? This
We are
already
live.
looks intense.
We are live.
It says scheduled. Oh, we're live right now?
We're live.
Oh.
Yeah. I do this through OBS, Ethan. We're live. We have 184 watching right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's
Ladies
an
and
intense
gentlemen.
conversation happening here, and it just says scheduled. My God, let's let the people in. Hello, Ant of Bird City Comics. My name's Ethan Van Sciver. Nate, Trial by Gods. Pleasure to meet both of you.
Love your Green Lantern stuff, man. It was fantastic.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that.
It was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun time, man. Working in DC when things were great. You guys, Jeff Johns was king of the hill back then, and doing his best work. Dan DiDio, I don't know what happened. Do you guys think something happened? Do we agree, or are you guys like?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think.
And where are you coming from, man? You look angry, and I'm without context. Will you smile and join me here? Whatever you and John Malin were saying.
I'm digging the whole conversation, but that's what I was saying. I feel a little nervous, not in a bad way. Like I want to have the conversation and hang out with everybody, but I want to make sure the questions are asked and just to get a clear understanding of who you guys are. That's all it is. I mean, like I said, don't ever not write something you want to write, dude. I want
to let you continue with that, but I want to preface this. That's a big deal right there to find out who you guys are and where you guys come from, because that's, to me, one of the biggest misunderstandings. I had so many people send me like, oh, here's the Wikipedia article for Comicsgate. Here's this. Are you sure you know? I'm like, this is so one-sided. I'm telling you this right now. We're going to have the guys on, and we're going to let them talk about where they come from and why they do this. It's easier just to have them on. So go ahead, and I apologize. Continue.
No, that's perfect. That's all it is. I want to know. I'm trying to get a vibe for who John is. What inspired the writing? Like, what made you think I'm going to write a hood piece? What was the mindset at? Like, how did you get to the point to you put that on
came
paper?
up really quick. We kicked around an idea of Ethan wanted to do a book that was a flip on fairy tales, masculinizing them, and he asked me just off the cuff, what would you do? And I was like, Black Riding Hood. It's a black kid in the hood, fighting werewolves.
Now, for context, this was around the same time that Miles Morales became Thor in Asgard. Do you remember that shit?
We talked about
where
that.
Where he was wiggity whack with his hammer that had fucking graffiti all over it and shit.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing was in vogue And John might have subconsciously have been parroting that shit too. But at the same time, Ant, if you read the book, were you able to read Black Riding Hood, what John wrote?
Yeah, we
They
just
saw
did.
the Abra reading.
Yeah, so and that's what McClay and I had a conversation about this last week, but he said this is what was going to happen. This was my first take on it. I didn't read it on purpose. I wanted to experience it firsthand and react to it naturally. Which we heard the reading and everything, and you guys hopped on. So this is all straight up first time hearing it, seeing it, reacting to it.
Yeah. Oh, and which I want to say, and maybe I missed it, but I think the ending was cut off.
Yes.
And that was like, and sped up. Like, that was like the most heartfelt father-son part of the story.
I apologize.
So,
yeah,
you know.
I did cut the ending. I didn't want to play her whole video, on here just because I don't.
I should put an N-bomb as the last word to just make sure it gets read.
Yeah.
Punctuated. See you next time, N-bombs. That should have been a note from the editor at the end of this. But
then it would have got played. It would have got played.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I feel like there's been a lot of weird stuff in comics lately. In the sense that when I was in comics, when I was working in DC back in the olden days, white guys could write black guys all the time. It was just no big deal. We didn't have enough homosexuals working in. Actually, we had plenty of homosexuals, not enough homosexual characters at the time. Didn't matter. Everybody wrote everybody. And they did their best to approximate to their ear what the dialect was that they should be able to write for each of these characters. John's sitting there and trying to approximate what he heard growing up in his hood, and John is a hood rat of the First Order, even though he's Caucasian. But also just the movies. If you're a fan of, like I am of the Hughes brothers, you're a fan of Spike Lee joints. Being able to write that kind of stuff in there and be true without being disrespectful. And here's the main thing. At any time, was that book disrespectful of that culture? And the answer is no. And if you read it, you'll see that. There was zero disrespect. It was real. It was grounded. It was scary. It was fun. It was cool. And that's why Director X is going to make a TV show of it.
I thought that was very interesting. I saw that. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Good. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. What was that on? That was on Super. You jumped on with
Yellow Flash. Flashcast.
Yeah, Yellow Flash. Yeah, Flashcast. Yeah. John, where did you grow up, and where do you live now? If you don't mind me asking. I mean, what?
I'm a Michigan guy.
Okay. All right. So you grew up in Michigan. Did you grow up in Detroit? I know a lot of
several parts of Michigan.
I love you were kind of joking about growing up on 8 Mile, but not the part. I know that saying, the white side, because my mom grew up in that same area. So I love that saying, and the white side. Yeah. Not the spot where Eminem grew up. That's for sure. So
No.
Yeah.
No, it was very safe. 8 Mile was very safe. 8 Mile, 9 Mile, 10 Mile. All the miles around me were all perfectly safe streets.
Yeah, and not like you have to be living in the hood or growing up in the hood to write this.
Yeah,
stuff,
I don't think I need qualifiers. If I
No.
write an alien, I don't need to be living in Mars.
Exactly.
I don't need that. I don't need that experience. If I'm trying and kind of back to what Ant was saying, if I'm trying to do something of like the like if I want to write a story about Mexico, I'm going to deep dive whatever it is that I feel I need to deep dive into. If I had any questions beyond that, maybe I would ask someone that lives in Mexico. But other than that, no, I definitely don't feel that I need to go and qualify anything by bringing in somebody with a different skin color or background to tell me something's okay for me to write.
Oh yeah. I wasn't implying that you needed a stamp of approval. It was more like a research, like what
right. But I mean, this questioning here is kind of the same thing, right? You need to know that I got a black friend or that I grew up in a black neighborhood in order to write. It's more justifiers, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't feel I need to tell people that I've known a black person, right? It's just.
John, do you write women? Do you write female characters?
I never met a woman in my life. I've never been in a
but you
female
write
neighborhood.
women all the time, right? You're allowed to write female characters in your books, right? That's weird because that is that's a whole different culture, isn't it? The women, the women, and what women think and how they talk, and
what they do in the bathroom. Who knows?
You're still allowed to write female characters, aren't you?
Yeah, without question. Yeah, people usually don't challenge that. Yeah.
And I, again, agree. I just want to ask. We're not talking about writing a specific character. It's in the context of how it's written. Not all black people talk that way. Or not, not every percentage of one body of people conduct themselves in that manner. And again, I just want to talk about it. I think
and if you guys if it wasn't on the speed read version of that, you might have realized that Darius, the kid, never says it. It's not how he talks. The style of the dialogue is completely different.
He's the good guy.
Talk like that. He's not coming from an ignorant part. He's educated.
He's not a criminal, even though he just killed a bunch of people. Not a criminal. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
But they weren't people. They were werewolves.
I liked how he seemed extremely vulnerable through the whole thing until his back was against the wall, and then we're like, okay, this kid can throw down. So he wasn't a victim, which was kind of a cool little. All right, the energy just went up in the book. That was a nice touch. I like that.
Thank you.
I think it's all about respect, and I really do. I think we find that if we can respect each other, then these things are not issues. They're issues because this is why Ant, I think, automatically has a problem with this, is because comic book culture has trained him to believe now, to be on edge and uneasy about the idea of people from different cultural backgrounds trying their best to creatively represent a background that they don't share. And that is a new thing. I think it's a diabolical thing. I think it's racist. So I'm not saying you're racist. I'm saying that is. And mostly what it is it's an attempt to gain power over others and over the media. If I can say the only people who can write, Dutch guys with pointy noses are people who are Dutch guys with pointy noses. Therefore, if there's anything on TV or the movies where there's a Dutch guy with a pointy nose, it's got to be me. This is now me. And anybody else isn't allowed to do that. Well, I've just carved out a whole power structure for myself and my friends, who are also presumably Dutch, with sundials on their faces. That's not fair. That's not right, and it's transparently obvious that that's what's going on, and we need to reject it for the sake of art.
Well,
simple as that.
You brought up one book, that Miles Thor What If issue, and we talked about that book heavy on this channel, heavy in the Hot 10. We talked about it heavy on Drunken Chat with Mighty Mel V. You guys all know. We laughed at that. We thought it was so ridiculous. And then it even got worse with the Spider-Punk stuff, the Spider-Punk a series that came out where they kind of like tried to throw this whole punk aesthetic in it, which looked great. The art was great, but the writing was beyond terrible because you could tell the person that read it had no idea what he was talking about. Even if he did research, I feel like he didn't even do research on the book. So there are those two roads, like you said, that it's kind of disrespectful, but people don't look at it as disrespectful. They just look at it as it's terrible. It's not good.
Well, it is again. That's a great. See, that book is the best example because it was disrespectful. It was mocking black culture. That's Miles Morales as Thor in Asgard and all that bullshit was a white. I think it was a white guy because it certainly didn't read like it. Was mocking black culture. It was disrespectful, and Marvel published it. See, to me, it's all about respect. Like, you could say, well, John didn't get it right, but John meant to get it right. John wasn't making fun of anyone. He was making fun of Little Red Riding Hood in the sense that it was a silly little funny girly tale that he's made badass, but he didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, and I don't think he'd look at that shit.
Yeah.
That is disrespect. That is cultural disrespect. And I'm not against it. Do it if you want to. It's art in its way. It's bad art, but it's art. But I mean, if we're going to come down and say, judge people based on what it is that they're producing, like this person is the real problem. John is a hero. John Malin is, John, I don't call too many people heroes,
Oh, thank you.
But you did actually try to portray that culture in a sophisticated, cool way that I think people of color would actually think was kind of cool. Like, and you did your best. And it reads, no matter what, it reads awesome. So, and you should read it, Ant.
Well,
yeah. I definitely want to get my hands on a copy of it to go through.
Well, they sold out.
I just want to make sure we're not misunderstanding. It's more of again, going back to this, I hope you guys continue to create anything that you want to create. But this is one of those situations where somebody messes it up for everybody. You're talking about the Miles book in Marvel. Somebody messed that up for anybody else that wants to go down that road. It was the same thing with the DC covers that they did for the Mexican History Month, where they did the guy with a bag of chimichangas as cover art.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's coming from. This is more of a nerves thing than it is a disrespect thing. I don't feel disrespected by this. You could have wrote a Latin character. I wouldn't give two shits about it. The thing of it is, as long as it comes from a place of you wanting to get it right, like what you're saying, I've got no problem with it now that those words have been said. And I didn't have a problem with it to begin with.
Red Hood brought up a very big point. He and Ethan kind of hit on this. When we were talking about using the N-word, Red Hood said, you know, there's kind of three situations that he looks at. He looks at, there's the people that are ignorant to it and just, you know, might be young and don't know what it means or this and that or you know, how to use it. There's the people that are really racist, and then there's the people that have intent. And by that intent, he means, like, say somebody, like Ethan said, he's going to come up on a show and say, hey, what's up? Or John said, he's going to come on a show and say, hey, what's up, fat ass? And I'm going to instantly want to say something back to him mean. And, you know, that's that intent to use it. There's and Red Hood, I really respect. I was hoping Red Hood was going to be here too. Where the fuck are you guys? Get on here. Come on. I know you're out here watching it. Get on here.
We're very scary. Didn't you read our Wikipedia page?
Can we talk about
KKK.
that? Can we talk about that? I want to bring that up because that is absolutely ridiculous. Let me bring that shit up, and we'll just kind of go over this because that's the first place that people are going to kind of go when they hear about Comicsgate and how scary it is and all that stuff. Do you ever do anything to try and change that Wikipedia page?
Yes, everybody does, and it doesn't get changed. It gets changed back because the Wikipedia is gate-kept by activists who want this message to be the message that you get when you hear about Comicsgate. There are people who spent 5 years following us around, and you know, anybody who said anything out of line, that made a joke of any kind, they were all, or made a mistake. We all make mistakes. It would get added to this list, which was just meant to just utterly sandbag and disgrace the idea of Comicsgate, which is a very simple thing that once you explain it to people, I have yet to hear anyone go, when I tell them what Comicsgate actually is, I've yet to have anyone go, yeah, that's bullshit, I don't want to do that. Everybody feels like, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of with you. Almost everybody, except for the activists who are putting these pages together here and trying to scare people away. There's nothing I can do about this. This is libel. This is 100% libel. It's bullshit. None of this has anything to do with what we stand for, what we do. This is just an attempt to smear us, to make people afraid to associate with us. Why? Power. That's all it is. These people have gained power over
think
comics.
A lot of activists are just bored sometimes too, though.
Yeah,
true. Okay, could you get a hobby other than slandering us? Like, all we're trying to do is just make it so that we've accepted the fact at this point that, like, leftists have taken over the comic book industry, and they're doing things and they're creating attitudes and they have power by, you know, suggesting things that we're talking about here, like only black people can write black people, only women can write women. All of this stuff, the ridiculous segregation in comics, in the arts, it's absurd. Like, it's infuriating. So these people have power that way, and they want to maintain it. And so all we're saying is, if that's the way things are, that's okay. But we want to be over here. We're going to criticize that, and we're going to make comic books on our own terms. Outside of those boundaries, nobody can tell us what we're going to do and what we can't do. And once people understand that that's what Comicsgate is, everybody's like, yeah, we agree with you. We are art in comics. Everybody else has become propaganda and under control, under the thumb of these fucking cultural vandals who have taken the things that everybody loves and they've made them deeply unpleasant by bringing cultural and racist gender politics ideology into them in ways that are just not fun. Yeah. And if it was fun, that would be one thing. And if it's sold, that would be another thing. But it's not fun. It isn't selling. Stores are going out of business. And somebody has to stand up to these assholes so that the comic book medium itself can survive. Because I think there are people who are predicting the entire industry has 2 more years. Not with us. We're going to still be here after the direct market tanks, because we've created something outside of the direct market. It's going to be small, it's going to be humble, but you know what? It's going to be art. Yeah. You should join us, and everybody should.
Well, that's great. Well said, man. I always tell people this as much as I can. Like, we should be erasing lines, not drawing them.
Well, I draw a couple lines too.
Unless you're an artist.
Hey, one of the things that I want to really talk about is how shitty this first paragraph is real quick. You just heard what Ethan says Comicsgate really is. Let me just read what they say on here. It's pretty ridiculous. It says Comicsgate is a campaign in opposition to diversity and progressivism in the North American superhero comic book industry. Its proponents target the creators hired, the characters depicted, and the stories told that argue that these elements have led to a decline in both quality and sales. The name is derived from Gamersgate, but more importantly, I think that where they start talking about how all you guys target women and people of color and LGBT, where's the Q on there? They forgot the Q. Somebody needs to update that. They're instantly throwing you into a negative place, and like you said, it's not that. It's doing things, especially in the self-publishing arena, that are breaking ground. You guys are always bringing in creators that are not only creating what they want to create, and you're helping them run a business out of it too. Like, you guys are constantly streaming and talking about new campaigns and new self-published books for, plenty of creators out there, which is super important. They should have that in that same paragraph there.
Well, they can't, because that would make them not victims. If you call us victimizers, that makes them the victims. If we're going after women and people of color and transgender, all these people who are marginalized, then we're clearly, we're the bad guys there. None of that is true. All of that is ridiculous. We sit on our streams and we make videos and we laugh and we make comic books. And there are people who make videos saying this comic book sucked, and what this guy said is just further proof of the problem within the comic book industry, et cetera, et cetera. But this is their technique. They talk about being victims all the time. These people. I mean, they talk about, they're going after, they're targeting, harassment. They use words like that in order to make themselves seem like victims, when they are in fact the victimizers. They're the ones who are doing to comics. They're the ones who make us necessary. We wouldn't exist. I'd still be at DC.
Yeah.
I'd be happily making my little page rate, drawing Hal Jordan. But no, I can't. I can't because they identified that I was different and they wanted me gone.
So recently you got your Twitter account back, which is glorious. Can you explain to people why you left DC, or why DC got rid of you? Because a lot of people might not know that are watching this.
Well, what happened was, it was a slow thing that happened over many years. People started to realize that I was a Republican, and I didn't think it was a big deal. But it was. It bothered people. I didn't realize this. Valerie D'Orazio, who is on Twitter right now, used to be an editor at DC. She told me, she said, I was told not to talk to you because of your politics. They told me at DC not to talk to you back in 2005, when I was like the biggest artist at DC doing Green Lantern Rebirth. So all of that was fine. We kind of cordially existed together, even though people would give me weird looks. Right around 2017, after Trump was elected, I was targeted for expulsion, cancel culture. I was told that, and other people were spreading rumors that I was a white supremacist and a racist, that I was an actual Nazi. They found instances where I made jokes about Nazism because I was being called a Nazi. See, the thing is, when somebody's calling you a Nazi, you have two choices. You can go, no, I'm not, or you can lean into it. Somebody said my signature was a hidden swastika.
Yeah.
So another artist made it look, they mocked it up to look like a swastika. That was used as evidence that I was a Nazi. This was insane. People were insane post-Trump. So a lot of them worked together in back rooms to announce that they would no longer work with me. And they told the higher-ups at DC Comics that the writer said, we won't work with him anymore. And DC said, what do you want to do about that? And I said, I'll find somebody. There's somebody who will write for me, or I'll write for myself. And then they started writing all these articles about me for the Daily Beast, calling me a white supremacist. DC Comics' white supremacy problem focused on me. And DC Comics was in a tough spot. They were trying to sell themselves to AT&T at the time. So finally, they reached out to me. And also I was associating with Comicsgate. I was associating with Richard C. Meyer. I said, I saw this stuff going on. I needed someplace to go where it made sense. And they just said, yeah, you're no longer going to be working here. We're going to end your contract. So that's it. And they were very cool about it. They just said anybody who causes trouble, who says anything about it, it's a fireable offense. Everybody's going to have to keep their mouth shut about it. But yeah, like, we're not extending your contract. And respect. I understand that. They were in a tough spot. I don't hold a grudge at DC at all. But my peers, on the other hand, that's a different story.
Yeah. John, what about you? I mean, what's it like for you, since, you know, being associated with Comicsgate, and do you see from any hate from the big publishers out there because of it?
Nowadays, I mean, it's different than it was, you know, back in 2017, 2018 stuff. The same thing. The election drove everybody insane. I was working at Marvel, and I was getting notes while I was working on Thunderbolts from my editor about how white girls couldn't have what appeared to be dreadlock hair because there's cultural appropriation, that their hips need to be less cocked because they're too sexy. I grew up in the 90s, you know, like, sorry. And, you know, I'm trying to sell books. They're going after boob size, waist size. That's the kind of stuff that I was dealing with. And it was just getting a little bit too fucking stupid. But a point that I want to make is that if I went by every limitation that Marvel gave me, and if I go by every limitation that I'm getting based on my race now in terms of what I should be allowed to write, eventually all I can produce for an audience is trash. Trash for you to gobble up and say you love it.
Yeah, we complain about.
I'm trying to make things to sell books. I'm trying to get people to read comic books. That's the profession I love, that I've always wanted to work in, and I'm doing it. Yeah. And so right now I'm going to do it all my way, and that's it. And crash or burn.
You know, we complain about that pretty heavy on here about, you know, how bad the writing has become at DC and Marvel. DC's gotten a little bit better, I think, recently, but Marvel, it's just terrible. One of the things that I thought was very interesting is how you guys, I saw, John, you and Shane Davis did a little show where you talked about it, and you guys were asking about the list, and you were saying, like, what are the requirements for this list and that type of stuff. And one of the reasons that where this channel came from is we kind of all came together because we look at the secondary markets, and you know, one of the big things that we used to, especially the last 5 years, talk about is, you know, being able to flip books to buy your grails, that type of thing. So we're always talking about what's selling on the secondary market, and you know, for how much, and how what the heat is around it, how many sales there are, what are people talking about flipping wise, and that's where that Hot 10 list came from. Basically, Stein, the guy who writes the list, saw your book was had a bunch of sales on the secondary market that day. I think like 6 or 7 sales that day alone for 150, 100, you know, plus. And that's the reason that was on the list. And, you know, he kind of looks at all the books throughout the week that are going crazy, and it's not like, oh, this book went from $10 to $100, and this book, you know, it's kind of, he bases it on what he thinks.
Well, I appreciate you guys including it and not excluding it because of who we allegedly are. So thank you guys, both you guys, for that.
So you sold out of all those. How many did you produce? How many copies did you produce, physical copies of the mail-in cut?
Ethan? Well, yeah, so we decided to make it a true collectible and print to order, which I think is a good idea. There are a lot of people who are overprinting comics right now. They're stuck with them. I just said, look, we're going to make it collectible. So you have 2 weeks to buy as many as you want. And then once I close it down, and by the way, it worked, because it's like everyone, 2 weeks, oh my God. So we created a FOMO effect. And then once we had our orders in, I think it was 1,246 copies sold at $20 each. It was amazing. And then we just said, cut it right there. I printed 1,400 was the print run. John's payment, in addition to a page rate, which he'd already received, was 100 copies of that book. And that's the deal that I'm going to be offering going forward with Comicsgate Arena. It's got to be a way that we can make indie comics, keep the print runs low, and allow people to make a good living. So you come work for me, Comicsgate Arena, and I'll give you your page rate. You'll do 20 pages, whatever it is. I will print the book. I'll run the campaign for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long, and then that's it. Cut off, print run. I will overprint it by about 50 plus 100 so that you get your 100 copies of the book after that. Limited run, you can sell those at whatever you want. And I think that just is a nice little bonus for the creative person.
And then I got 100. I got 100 of them. I took 80 of those. I put them up on a small campaign, and I sold and priced them at $150 a pop, and then sold out in about 5 days. The campaign's still running, but it's sold out.
Which means that what John's done is he said, you bought it at 20, I'm selling out at 150. There's an entire window for speculators. I'll sell mine at 100. I'm going to undercut John Malin. And everybody's going to make money. That's how comics are supposed to be done. That's good comic speculation. Created demand, and it had a really nice kind of thing. There was this is an edgy book. It's like, it was great. It was terrific.
Thank you for keeping for telling us the print count, because that's one of the things that in the speculator world we talk about pretty heavy. We hate the fact that we're always being lied to about print counts on a lot of these things, especially these books like this, like you said, that are super collectible. It's created a buzz. It's independently published, which is always great in the speculator market and the collector market. We love those things that are rare like that. But we're always getting lied to about these print counts and stuff, so that's important to know those print counts like that from this.
Yeah, we got to be true to that. If at any point we blow that and lie about our print run, that ends this thing. And right now it's making everybody money. It's a good idea. Everybody does well. The creator does well. I do well. The speculators do well. So why ruin that?
What's the plan for the future on this storyline, John?
Yeah, because of the success of it. Because it was only ever meant to be a 10-page story. But I have since put the character into my Graveyard Shift universe. But he's just a side character because there's a whole story that's already unfolding there. But yeah, because of how well it did, I am looking to do probably a follow-up campaign for it. And then, maybe a full 20 to 40 page book. But I'm going to have to find an artist for that. But yeah, I'm going to write it, and I'm going to keep going with it. And yeah, there's going to be more colorful language in there. And and I'm never going to apologize for it.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. Not especially not for that. I don't think it's anything crazy. Personally, I don't think it's anything crazy. That's why I really I appreciate her for doing that the way she does that. Is that something I apologize for not being to know much about her. Does she do that on the regular where she reads books like that?
Abra 2 cents.
Yeah,
she's such a sweetheart.
I think she does more reviews.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was excellent. So if you guys saw that earlier, I'll put that link in the description here for anybody that wants to go check out her page. I suggest subscribing to it, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I wish more guys would have showed up to talk about it. But again, I appreciate the fact that you said that you'll never apologize for it. I especially think that there's no reason to even apologize for having a conversation like that. That's the worst part. It's the part that's ridiculous. I had a lot of people tell me that I shouldn't even ask to have the conversation. Don't even platform these guys.
Cowards.
Yeah. Don't even platform these guys, which is
and these guys know in their heart why they're not here, and they should ask themselves if they're cowards.
Dude, if we're everything you say we are, slam us right now. You know what I mean? Like you must have tons of receipts. Like really, just give it to us. Why wouldn't you do that? I would talk to anyone. I would talk to absolutely anyone about this because I know I'm right. I believe in everything that I say. I'm 100% genuine about Comicsgate, and I think like the results show. We'll be here for a long time, as long as we want to be here. We have great characters. We have enthusiastic creators. We have the best fans in the world who love comics. So I invite everybody to join us. It's very easy. I know it's a scary thing, but you know what? It's becoming less scary as more and more comic shops close down. More of these creators who have made the entire industry and hobby inhospitable and bitter and angry and terrifying. These people are all becoming homeless now, and they're starting GoFundMes to pay their... Listen, they deserve it. The comic book industry used to be fun. Now, we got to make it fun again. There's a whole new wave of indie creators, the likes of which we haven't seen since 1987 with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's bring all that back. Let's make great comics. Let's sell them. Let's use the internet to do it. And it doesn't matter what happens to the industry at large. It'll have to deal with itself.
What's the world of Cyberfrog like right now? Again, another classic character and IP. I know that you had the Wreck Planet. You had the second volume. Is that being shipped out now? Or there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Cyberfrog. Yes, it is. Wreck Planet is being shipped out right now. I got a bunch of Cyberfrog stuff behind me. There's a full-size Cyberfrog mask, a bunch of statues that are in production, the toys. I got some toy action figures on my wall here. We're doing stuff that Indie Comics has never done before. We're doing it through crowdfunding. Anything is possible as long as you have an audience who believes in you. This is just, I pulled this out because I just like the image. This is me doing the Double Dragon. Remember, like, Double Dragon's arcade cover, like two guys the same size, back to back, ready to fight. It's just that Cyberfrog is real small compared to Salamandroid, his brother. But this is the shit. This is a trading card binder. We make tons of trading cards that are extremely collectible. I put them out like through various ways. You could join my YouTube channel, making these things collectible. We must have 120 trading cards right now that you can collect, of various rarities. There's another image on the back, Salamandroid and Cyberfrog.
Can you talk about the beginning of Cyberfrog a little bit? That's another thing that we love collecting and talking about around here is like those early works, those early creative first. John, I'm gonna ask you this question in a second, so start thinking. But those early Cyberfrog stuff, very early in your career. What was it like creating that at the time and being in comics back then?
So fun, because it just seemed like I was on the bottom rung of the ladder I wanted to climb, and I'm sure there are still people out there right now listening that are on that, thinking about putting their foot on the bottom rung of that ladder to climb and become a comic book creator. It was great because nobody was telling me no. I could do whatever I wanted to do, and I started getting paid for it pretty soon. I did 2 issues for an indie publisher who didn't pay me, and then Harris Comics picked me up. Right in 1995, 96, when the boom was still happening. It was about to die, but they paid me really well. I was getting like $360 a page to write and draw Cyberfrog, with very little creative, very little editorial overhead. I was kind of just allowed to do whatever I wanted to do. It was wonderful. It was a great time. It didn't last. I had to go over to DC Comics and spend about 20 years there.
Well, I want to ask about those first 2 issues because I love those first 2 issues. I love the fact that you did that thing where you had those extra pages, where you had people send in to get those extra pages. You could send them out, and I have those. I would try to go find them, but they're probably 10 long boxes deep, going through that room. But those extra pages, again, thinking about the collector back then, a lot of people might not know about that. Can you talk about that? How that whole situation kind of happened?
Well, I mean, it was Harris Comics just kind of saying we need a sales gimmick, and so they said draw up the most offensive page ever, and we'll say that it was censored from the book, and that you have to turn in a coupon to get it. And so I just drew Cyberfrog like ripping somebody's intestines out and spinning them around like a top, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon kind of thing. That's awesome. That was the censored page, and it was fun. I mean, people, you can find you had to send away for it. Those are rare. They're on eBay now. They're highly prized, valuable collectibles. Those were fun times. The 90s were great. I think that's what's... Yeah.
What was your first published work? Was it Cyberfrog, or did you do anything before Cyberfrog that was put out?
Not really. You know, Cyberfrog was it. I illustrated about a dozen children's books when I was a kid, but you can't find those. I mean, you know, and don't bother looking. They're not good. I don't want those to turn up. You know, so yeah, it was cool. Cyberfrog was the first thing that I did. I created it as a kind of, I combined all the comics that I liked: Spider-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spawn, Savage Dragon. Put them all together into this one character, and started drawing comics like that. It was great, you know. And I brought him back because, you know, today, you know, the new relaunch, the book is kind of a statement about how, you know, Cyberfrog was attacked in 1998 and went to sleep. And that's when I had to stop drawing Cyberfrog in 1998 because the sales just dwindled to nothing. We lost our toy deal. It all just fell apart. I had to go find something else. So Cyberfrog did remain in suspended animation for 20 years. And then he awakens in 2018, where I literally brought him back through Comicsgate to see that the world has been taken over. The comic book industry is not what it used to be. It's not fun anymore. And you can compare it to having been overtaken by alien hornets who have papered over everything that everyone else built. And made it dangerous and hostile. And Cyberfrog is a character from the 90s, very much like Deadpool. He used to be a wisecracking, violent rogue, you know, just a nihilist. And a character like that, as his friend Heather Swain says to him, you know, he tries to be funny in Wreck Planet. There's a boss leader of the survivalist colony, and he goes up to Heather and says, "Can I get a haircut? I need a haircut tonight." And he says it in a very sexist way. Cyberfrog takes hedge clippers. Got your your haircut. And Heather's horrified. She's just like, it's not the 90s anymore. You can't do this. You know, it's like the world has changed. There's no room for your antics like this anymore. And I think that's kind of what the book is about now. In a sort of larger sense, can a fun character like Cyberfrog survive in this current world as it is, in the industry as it is? And he can, but he's going to hide out with a lot of survivalists, a community of survivalists that are very much like Comicsgate. Me and John Malin, Shane Davis, all of us who I think have survived this purge, which is what it was, and made our own community.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to Shane Davis, one of our favorite artists, especially over at the Hot 10. We're always talking about Shane's. He did most recently a book that we talked about pretty heavy. It was that badass Sabretooth variant that he did that was so gorgeous. Another amazing artist that we love. John, you know, I'm going to ask you, what was your first professional work? What was the stuff that you had first published? Was there anything that you had published before? You know, like a lot of people had letters that they sent into letter pages and stuff like that.
Well, my first published work was anthology, and I did 5 pages. It was Digital Webbing Presents #1.
Yeah.
And that's probably a pretty rare book.
Scotty Young's first published work too.
Oh yeah. I remember Scotty was there. I think he might have done the cover for that or issue 2 or something like that. But yeah, I remember Scotty was around during those days. Yeah, so, yeah, my first full book was Nitrogen with Rob Liefeld. So he paid me to do a couple issues of that, which is great. Got to use some old school extreme characters. I got to draw Prophet in the second one, which I loved. So I'm a big Rob Liefeld fan, still am.
Hell yeah. We love him too. I think Rob Liefeld needs a reality show ASAP, man. That is one of the funniest characters.
Yeah.
I love watching his lives. Just he cracks me up, man. Absolutely hilarious.
Nice.
So, what do you guys think about the whole secondary market type thing? I know, Ethan, you talked a little bit about how everybody's making money, and that's great. But there are some artists that just they don't even really care, or creators that don't even really care about it. Some know about it. Some people don't like the fact that people sell their books for more than what they sell them for. What is your thought on it, John?
I think that's gay. Like, if you buy a book from me and you can make more money off of it, awesome. What's wrong with that? Make some money. It's just, I don't know, man. Petty people are all throughout this industry. Yeah, I don't care. If you buy art off of me and you can sell it for more than I sold it to you, great. That's a win. Like, I'm not going to resent fans because they're making money and there's an ecosystem that needs to be going on here. And you get all these little piddly people out there oh man, they made money off my art. Oh, you know, and then it just turns people off. Like, God, I don't want to buy art from you, dude. You know, like, God, you're not that important.
It's also interesting with buying art, original art these days. A lot of artists don't, do original art that they could sell. They don't, they're doing CG stuff or working on a computer or something. A lot of guys do both of you guys. I know you guys are always doing live streams and showing what you're working on. But for people that are watching today, what's your guys' main style of creating art nowadays?
I'm digital, yeah. So
digital.
I draw on, right now I'm drawing on an iPad Pro, but really Wacom Mobile Studio Pro is my tablet of choice, and I'll be going back to that probably this coming up year. So it's okay. The iPad's okay, but it's just not as good as a Wacom. The lines are better. The pen reads better, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna get away from it.
What about you, Ethan?
No, I just I still draw with a pencil and paper, like everybody used to, and I have a big flatbed scanner. I scan in my pages. I really enjoy drawing with my hands. I really enjoy paper. I like the tactile sensation of it, and also I just think that everything else is cheating. I learned how to draw like in an environment where that's what you had. You had pencil and pen and paper. And you had to do the best that you could with that. If you had to draw a car, you had to draw a car. It's like you needed to draw a car. You couldn't just sort of use SketchUp or any of these weird things to sort of fake or, digitize a car or anything like that and throw it in. You couldn't just fix mistakes.
He's still mad about Old Man Logan.
I'm not mad about it. That was very disenchanting for me, though, because I was really impressed with some of my peers who were like, in Old Man Logan, there's a spider buggy. All through it, like they're in the spider buggy. Steve McNiven, friend of mine, good friend. And I was like, Steve, I can't believe, because I know, for me to draw the spider buggy, I would be sitting there all day, starting with a box, wetting it down, carving it out, drawing the spider buggy from whatever angle, using perspective. I said that you did this whole sequence with the spider buggies. Amazing. How did you do that from every angle? And he goes, oh, Ethan. He goes, it's SketchUp. You don't know what SketchUp is? And I was like, no, what's that? He goes, so it's a computer program. I just sort of build a digital model of the spider buggy, and then I can turn it at any angle and print it out and trace it. And I was like, no, that's not how this works. You're supposed to draw everything by hand, aren't you? So that was, for me, that was when I started to just double down on being a traditional artist. I'm going to do it all by hand. I really am. No tools.
But he uses microns. He's not using crow quill. I mean, that's the traditional way. He's updating his stuff too. So
but I used Pigma. The earliest things I used were Rapidograph pens, Kohinoor Rapidographs. Then I graduated to Pigma microns, which were not as good. They're just not as good. And then I found Kohinoor, whatchamacallit, Copic microns. No, Copic, multiliners.
Look, professionally I'm digital, but in my free time I like to go to caves and I like to do murals, with stones and charcoal.
Well, what do you think about the whole AI stuff? I mean, we've been talking about that the last 5 months or so. There's a lot of new artists out there that are, man, they're so good at what they do digitally that it almost looks like it could be this AI, and there's a lot of people getting called out for it. I know, a retailer and a long-time comic store owner over here that we've talked to about it, Sean Hudako, who said, has that Shikari artist that he uses, and I mean, it looks like that artist is putting real faces on these bodies and craziness. And what are your guys' thoughts on that whole thing?
Well, I think Ethan's point and mine, to a certain extent, is that it's a tool, and you can use a tool, you can abuse a tool too. If you wanted, I don't know how it works. I haven't gone into it, but we have people in our community that kind of fiddled in it. We've seen a little bit of how this stuff works, but if you type in, I guess, prompts like evil, lair, I don't know, thunder, Skeletor or something like it, it'll shoot something out, which is kind of cool. And maybe something in there is something like, hey, that's a cool element in there. And then if you can find a way that goes into something that you're working on, by redrawing it by hand, whatever, great, fine. Other people, they're probably gonna. And where we diverge, I think, is I welcome our AI overlords. Like, I'm all set for it. We're not going to stop it. It's going to go. It's going to go a million miles an hour from here on out, and it's going to get crazy. I'll try to find a way to use it somewhere down the line, but I like the idea a little bit more of like if I could clone myself, and say, hey, bot, draw like me. Let's do this. Find angles. I move camera because I described it before. Like it would produce something in theory, something that's two-dimensional, but there's still a camera placed there. So since it's all computer, basically, arguably, they can develop it to be 3 dimensions, and I can turn the camera till I get the thing right in the right panel. So if I could do something like that, I'm not completely against it, but I think that's really limited. I think where it's really going is that if you think of a comic page, like I can take a comic that I've made and at some point I'm going to be able to feed that into a computer, and it's going to take those panels as like keyframes, and it's going to start to build up live action animations. I'm going to start getting movies produced out of old comics that I've done. I think that's going to be really interesting because it's something I'll never be able to afford. But as long as it's something that I can manipulate along the way, to pick new angles, and be more of a director, that's kind of where I see the bright future of this AI stuff coming, because I will never be able to do these, Madhouse level animations or afford them. But if I can get an AI, even to produce a great demo, that would be something that would be really fucking cool and useful for me to sell to maybe an animation studio and be like, hey, here's how it could look without costing me $50,000, $100,000 for a 2-minute clip. So
Shout out.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting thing coming down the line with AI. But other people are, there's the Shadiversity guy. He's a writer who's learned how to do a couple prompts. He's considering himself an artist. I think it's a difference in term. I don't think that makes you an artist to prompt a couple of things, but I do think it makes you a director. I think because again, I believe the AIs offer you up like 3 or 4 choices on what your prompts are, and you kind of select one, and then it can refine that one. And so I see that a lot, like what any movie director would be doing is finding the right art, like let's go with this spaceship, let's go with this. And where I think the art would come in is if you were producing something long form. If you were able to keep the images consistent and the ship's great and do this in terms of like even a full comic book, but you're still not exactly an artist. You're an artist as much as a director can be, so there's a little bit of art that I would credit you, but it's like a team effort in that your AI is everything. It's your cinematographer, your lighting, your color correction. The AI is doing all these different team elements. So, but yeah, I mean, pull together a movie, call yourself a director. I'm fine with that. Calling yourself an artist is a bit of a stretch, especially for a few prompts to make a pinup work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's amazing how a lot of people we've heard that are also utilizing it to help them tell stories, writing the stories, doing the art. I guess the important thing to me is that you're upfront with it. I always say that as long as you're upfront with it and telling us that you've done it through AI art and you're not trying to pass it off as real. If you're trying to pass it off as real, I'm definitely not cool with that. I'm going to call you a douchebag instantly. Because there's a lot of people that are doing that right now. One of the markets in the speculator world that has really blown up for the past 5 or 6 years, and that is it's a weird thing, is retailer exclusive variants. Right? You have all these brick and mortar shops, online retailers that are comic book retailers that are getting involved with not only big publishers but indie publishers to do these retailer exclusives. Do you guys ever do anything like that in any of your campaigns? Do you try to do that type of stuff?
Variants, yeah. I don't know if anyone's done any like 20 out of 1 or 21.
No, John, that's not what this is.
Yeah,
I'll take this question. This is a predatory practice by Marvel, where they ask a retailer. They say, "Hey, look, you can do an exclusive cover, on the book that's just for your shop, but you have to buy 3,500 copies of the book in order for you to qualify to get. You can pay Scotty Young or somebody to do an exclusive cover that's only available at your shop. 3,500 copies in this environment. It's predatory. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's worked out too well for many people. Most comic shops cannot sell 3,500 copies of anything. And by the way, it's not too exclusive or rare when there are 3,500 of them out there.
Yeah, that's a big point. That's a great point. Ant, I want to bring Ant on this conversation because Bird City Comics is one of those retailers that has done a good job at this. And Ant, one of the things that I think that you do good about this is you don't get involved too much with a lot of those big print run books. You do a lot of you also do a lot of smaller print run stuff. Can you talk about what Ethan's kind of saying with that getting involved and stuck with 3,500 copies? A lot of retailers, especially small retailers, like Ethan says, can't sell those.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of books. We mainly stick to the indie runs just because of the quantities, and it's easier. You want to sell out of a book, so it pushes aftermarket, and it'll have more buzz around it. The Marvel stuff for the mid tier to smaller is definitely Marvel or DC is definitely harder for retailers on that scale just because of the quantities. But there are some things that make it work, like being offered the retailer incentives that go with the book. Yeah. If you pick the right book, it's really not that much of a stretch, but you have to be set up for it. If you've got an email list with less than 1,000 people, I wouldn't go down that path. But it's one of those things that validates you in the market too. If you're not doing the occasional DC or Marvel book, you're just the guys, pushing indies. So it's kind of one of those things that it's a necessity. I'd prefer not to do them as much off unless there's just a really badass project and there's a character I'm pumped about. Then it's more of we were talking about making comics fun again. That's where it gets fun. I
guess you could do it. Like Star Wars did this. Marvel uses it to pump up their own numbers. So they're like, we sold 100,000 copies of this. Well, it's like a certain number of them, a certain percentage were these retailer incentives, which really probably aren't going to even sell through. And I don't know how much like one of these books will cost, $3, $2 or something like that. If you can make 3,500 of them with a really cool cover on it and then just sell 100 of them for $100 each, you're making money, right? So, I guess that might be the way to do it, and then just throw the rest of them in a fucking dumpster. But much. It's not it is predatory. It does, it's pretty spooky of Marvel to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the speculator community that feel like the whole retailer exclusive thing, and also to a big part the ratio incentive variant thing, is really has hurt the market more than it's helping. So it's not an uncommon sentiment, which is very
Ethan, I think earlier you mentioned there were 1,400 copies that sold. Was that Black Riding Hood at $20?
Yep.
Does that sound right? Okay.
No, not 1,400 that sold. I sold 1,200 and maybe it was 76. I can't remember. 1,200 and change. And I printed 1,400 copies. So 1,200 and something sold to customers, pre-sold to customers, and then there was an extra 100 that John got.
And John said he got those. Yep.
He sold his through. Yep. Whatever was left over is for people who got damaged copies and things like that. I like to have a few in reserve for people like that. So, but yes, sold out, sold through. And we would like to open that up to retailers at some point. We wouldn't mind. I think the truth of the matter is we're here to sell comics. If retailers wanted to invest in our books that way, and we could certainly accommodate them in some way at a slight discount for a bulk order, that would be would be my prerogative or John's prerogative if you go through his company. But I would definitely like more people to read our comics. I don't listen. I'm proud of this. This is beautiful. This is Cyberfrog 2. Listen, people should read this.
Hold on, I'm gonna. That is absolutely gorgeous, man. I want to put you up in a solo screen here because of how beautiful that book is. That's another thing.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's another thing.
And it's a foil
too. It's not even foil. It's chromium, which is
it chromium? That's cool.
Yeah, technology. The kind of, and I kept the arts consistent throughout. I worked hard on this book. It's a terrific story. Very, very detailed. The best art I've done. Green Lantern doesn't measure up to this. Was able to do this because of crowdfunding. Thanks to everybody who backed it. I just care about telling a great story and then making a comic book that looks collectible. Like this, it's like, I gotta have this because it's shiny. I love that too. I think that's a lot of fun. So, Cyberfrog 2 Wreck Planet.
That's another.
We want to put these in stores.
That's another thing that we've seen a big influx on is these foil books, but it seems like the bigger publishers are putting out this terrible foil on these books. They look bad. We talk about a lot the chromium, these old school chromium hollow foil books that we used to see. That's exactly what collectors want over that dull foil look. We want that beautiful refractor chromium look. Only on special books though. Like, they don't all have to be like it because then you drown out everything. It doesn't become special anymore.
Well, good luck to everybody because the guys who manufacture chromium are exclusive to All Caps Comics. That whole technology is dead. We're the only ones producing chromium. You can get some good foil. You can get some interesting things. But actual chromium that's mirrored like this you'll only find that with us. Isn't that nice?
What about we were talking about the whole retailer exclusive thing where it has the chance for smaller retailers to get in to do these variants and to do these covers and to be part of these books. And then you had mentioned that it would be nice maybe to work with some of those smaller retailers. What about doing something like that, like opening it up to some of these smaller retailers and saying, hey, if you have an artist you want to work with and do a cover for this book, we'll let you have that artist, if we okay it, have that artist, do 100, 300, 250, 500 copies, and then you send them to you to sell. Is that something?
That's an awful lot. That is a lot. I wouldn't expect that. I don't know. That whole thing, the retailer incentive cover, it doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't feel right to me. You want to come and buy a bunch of copies of Wreck Planet, one of my more rare variant covers, and I'll give them to you at half price at a certain bulk discount. Sure, we could talk about that. That's a whole different story. But getting people involved in saying you got 500 copies of Cyberfrog 2. I'm not doing that to somebody. I don't believe that market exists in any one particular store, at least not yet. And I'm not going to have my comic book sitting this thick on a shelf of unsold copies. It's embarrassing.
Or
you want to buy 20 of them, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A diamond box in a garage, which a lot of.
And then they're in the 25-cent bin. No fucking way. No way. Not doing it.
We saw there was a new publisher that kind of grew out of a third-party selling platform called Whatnot. I'm sure you guys have heard of the whole Whatnot app and everything. Have you guys heard about that?
It's a piece of shit. You haven't used it.
Yeah. There was this, publisher that kind of grew out of it, and they created a book, and they must have created 100 different variants where they produced, 1,000 copies of each. There was so many copies of this book, and they did not sell. And people are, within months they were seeing them in dollar and quarter bins, which is sad. Like you said, that
it's such a bad sign. It just, it doesn't look good. It's not. It's as the kids say. It's not a good look. So it's not a good look for Cyberfrog. It's not a good look for Comicsgate. We don't want that. We want our books to be rare. We want them to be, something that people can collect and enjoy, resell at a good, profit if they want to. And we would let people get involved. I would let retailers get involved if they wanted to. Just contact me, and it'll be a one-on-one thing. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where we're going to want to try the direct market. If it's still here, in spite of what Phil Boyle from Coliseum of Comics is predicting. I like the idea of making a very cheap version of Cyberfrog and being able to sell it for $5 in a store. But what I really want to do is I want to make these. I want to make beautiful, beautiful comics that represent all the work that I put into it, that are prizes, that you're happy to own. Story is equally as important, but the two things together are just wonderful to me. Collectible, good story.
Yeah. I want to ask a couple questions here that I personally want to know. You guys stream a hell of a lot. I mean, you guys are always streaming, which I love. I've been, doing the streaming thing now for about 5 years, doing the YouTube thing, and I think it's become a great hobby. More than anything, it's become a place where I could get to talk to my friends and bullshit about, the art and the comics and the movies we love, which is fun. But it can be a tough thing. What is your guys' thoughts on the whole streaming world, John? I mean, do you enjoy it? Doing that?
I think I enjoy it. I like being same thing. I like being able to sit and talk with people. Ethan, Shane, some others. Sometimes people in the chat. I'll have them come on my show. Yeah, I do enjoy it. But it is a job. It does take up time. Time away from writing or creating. So, you got to try to find a good balance for it. I'm still trying to find a good balance for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do enjoy it. Yep.
It's a good extra income. I make the money that I get to spend that's in my wallet, I get from YouTube. So that's an important thing. Everything else is business. My business is worth several $1 million, but I don't get to play with that money. That money gets to go to making books, shipping books. Unfortunately, I don't get to buy a Lamborghini. So the money that I get to spend comes from YouTube. And selling my artwork and things like that. So it is a necessity. In addition, YouTube is how we connect with people and let them know that our books exist. And actually displaying a personality behind the work,
Yes.
being able to talk one-on-one, what it feels like one-on-one with people in the audience. Really, that connection is what sells an independent comic more than anything, I think.
Yeah, in a big way, a huge way. It means a lot for people to see, and not even with comic books. I think we live in a world where so many people are doing things through text and getting angry over some emotion that isn't being read in a text. And when you can come on here and, that's why I really wanted to have you guys on to talk about this so people can actually hear you talk about it. Even though both of you guys are kind of dry in how your humor comes across a lot, I think it's easier when we actually hear some of that humor sometimes. So thank you for coming
here's some
on.
now. So remember the Heather Antos milkshake picture?
Yes.
Milkshake photo of the Marvel assistant editors all drinking milkshakes? I drew them, but as the villains from Cyberfrog, the Vespis. Instead of milkshakes, they're all eating human beings. But, there they are here. So this is a folder that you can get. It's a nice folder that you can keep an enemies list in if you'd like to. Cyberfrog 2, Wreck Planet, the Vespis. Scary. Terrible.
Hey, so just curious, when we're talking about different stuff, if there are 1,400 issues sold of Black Riding Hood #1, with every kind of thing going around it right now, how many issues have been sold of '2?
There is no #2.
But if you sell that well for #1, it's like Ghostbusters.
There will be, but like I said, this was only meant to be a 10-page story. It was part of a larger collection that Ethan's doing called Cool Story Bro. It's one story out of, I don't know, 6 or 7 other creators that were doing stories, all based on fairy tales. So it was only meant as a one-off, but because it's so popular right now, I'd be stupid not to try to do a.
You accidentally created the next Punisher, next Spider-Man. I mean, whoops! You're a genius. He contributed to a book called Cool Story Bro, which is a collection of short stories. Yeah, I got Kenneth Roca for it, who did the Gingerbread Man story, but as John Wick. It's unbelievable. It's totally
he did
awesome.
Sideways, right?
He's
his art's
he did
great.
Teen Titans. He's one of the best. He's with us. He's Comicsgate. He's the best, right, John?
Sure.
That's one of the things
Very competitive.
that I brought up during the Hot 10 show was if you guys go to comicsgate.org, please go to comicsgate.org instead of any Wikipedia article that you're going to read out there. You can see the list of creators over there that is our Comicsgate, and a huge amount of creators are creating the art that they want to create and doing it the way they want to do it.
Art Taber, Dale Keown. There's a lot of Graham Nolan, Aaron Lopresti. These guys are all big hitters. Comicsgate.
Yep. And
where's Kenneth? There he is, Kenneth Rocafort.
Kenneth Rocafort. Mm-hmm.
Kelsey Shannon, geniuses.
Yeah. It's good shit, man. It's really good shit, and a lot of information over there. Like I said, these guys are constantly creating campaigns, and they have many campaigns that they're running. Currently, what are the do you guys both have campaigns that you're running?
We have one coming up in about a week. It's a triptych cover. Shane, myself, and Ethan, we're all doing new covers to our own books. So. You'll be able to put them all together, and it's one larger image that all three of us worked on. So yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, that's
it's getting colored right now. So by Kyle Ritter, it's gonna look great.
And another thing that I want to mention is that you guys do a lot of your campaigns on Indiegogo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ethan
and Fund My Comic.
Oh, Fund My Comic. Yes. I saw you guys talking about the other night. Ethan, I heard you talking about Kickstarter. You basically, what are your thoughts on Kickstarter? If you could kind of talk about that.
Well, I think one of the things that Comicsgate stands against is political discrimination. We don't like the idea that few Comicsgaters were told that they couldn't have campaigns on Kickstarter because of their politics. Mike Barron being one. John Malin and Richard C. Meyer in the early days of Comicsgate were taken down for their politics. So we have kind of a boycott on Kickstarter. Now, John has a very hard boycott on it. I've got a, what's an egg called that's only a soft-boiled boycott on Kickstarter. I'm not going to use it, but I'm not going to hate on anybody who does. John is going to hate on people who do, and that's just who he is, and that's fine. We love John. That's how we feel about
Rockaport.
That's right. Honestly, Indiegogo has done it too, just not to the same extent, and Indiegogo's also caused us a few problems, but we
shadow bans.
Shadow bans. We tend to just focus fire. If everybody just kind of focuses on one target of discrimination, like the same way conservatives all decided nobody was going to drink Bud Light. Tons of products out there. We're promoting gender ideology, but everybody decided kind of in unison to focus on Bud Light and punish that one company. That's kind of how we feel about Kickstarter too. So anyway, I don't know, but I've got Cyberfrog 3 Red Extermination. I popped the video up there if you'll show it. It's a quick video.
Let's get into it. Here we go.
Watch this, Ant. You'll love it. Third book up on Indiegogo now, and you can get the other two books there as well.
That is sick. I agree.
That soundtrack hit hard with that.
Yeah, it did. That was dope. That was
that built nice.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are loving it. Shout out to Reef the Sea. I agree. It is sick. That was super sick. So make sure you guys go check it out. Listen, I suggest that you guys just take a look at all the Comicsgate crew and all the stuff they're doing. If anything, support people that are creating comics and doing it the way that they want. I think that's super important in the comic world. What Ethan said at the beginning about how scary it is for comics right now and the big publishers and what they're doing, and that they might not be here in a couple of years, and yeah, we don't want that. So shout out to everybody in here that's saying that they're backing it, all these campaigns and stuff. Super cool. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. I know that the rest of the guys didn't show up from that Hot 10 show, but more than anything, I appreciate how you guys kind of took a look at it, and we do the same thing. You know, I think kind of cracking jokes on that type of stuff, and the way that you guys talked about it and with multiple people was fun to watch, and I appreciate it. And we're at least I consider myself an ally with you guys and what you're doing, and I appreciate it. And anytime you guys want to come hang out and talk about the speculator world, we'd love to have you over here. So,
okay. Same is true. We had a good time. Guys, join us. We're friendly. We just want to make comics. We might disagree about politics, but we don't disagree about comic books being important. And we need to continue making comics and keeping them alive. So thanks for having us. Ant and Nate, especially. I know you guys are not, you guys might disagree with us about a lot. We appreciate you just being here and being brave enough to talk to us. Hey, guys, in the chat also, check us out. Take a look at the comics we're making.
No, I think it's good stuff. I would just tell John, I think Mel is a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of a lot of guys here. He's a solid guy. So is Red Hood. And I'll tell you, you take it up for your friends. If you're that worried or that upset about just somebody saying something, it really shouldn't affect you that much, because they're good guys. I think you probably.
Wait, are you talking about me or Mel? Like, which one should?
Well, I'm talking about Mel, because Mel's a great guy.
All right.
And Hood's a good guy.
Wait, so Mel shouldn't be that affected because somebody said something he didn't like. Right. I agree with you.
Like what I said earlier. I think he's a New York guy. I went to school in New York. My professor used to talk about punch people in the face. Mel says that punch in the face. I think it's a New York thing. So I don't think you should take it personally. I think you should just let it roll the punches, not worry about it.
Yeah, if I get shot or stabbed one day, or I shouldn't just take it personally.
I'll roll with those punches, John. If that happens.
I mean, if you're that sensitive about it, I think you ought to.
No, I don't think I'm that sensitive. I think Mel's that sensitive about it.
I don't think he is.
See what I'm saying? He's the one that wanted to insult me, though. Like, you get that, right?
Well, I mean, it could be just like what he's saying. It's cultural slang. It's not maybe he didn't mean it as I'm going to
cultural slang of coming to a convention, like that I should get punched in the face at a convention. Yeah, I think you guys should go back and hear what Mel was saying.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? Do that.
Well, this is what happens when people don't stop to get to know each other before they react. Those people are called reactionaries, and I think right now, the world that is being built around us. Where we're being separated from each other, and therefore assumptions are being allowed to be made, radical assumptions where we hate each other without speaking to each other. I think this is all part of that poison, and it's part of the wall that needs to come down. The other wall needs to go up. Trump, 2024.
That's why I'm just telling you a little bit of the bridge. He's a great guy. I think we don't. Whatever you heard before, don't take it so slanderously.
Here's the thing, Nate.
It's as bad as you think it is.
Nate, I get what you're saying, but I also understand where John's coming from. John doesn't know Mel. You know what I'm saying? John doesn't know Mel.
No.
I mean, maybe if he knew him, he would feel this way.
Like, what you think? What Nate's trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm a better guy. I'm a better guy. You don't know me. Just take my word for it. I'm a better guy than Mel.
Well,
so Mel loses. Mel loses the good guy competition.
I'm gonna take up for my friend. So.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be threats of violence, right? I mean, that's all there is to it.
I mean,
no, they're good guys, though. It's okay.
No worries, man.
I mean, we all just sit around and watch She-Ra all day long if we want to get along that much. I mean, if we're worried about come on.
Watch She-Ra?
Yeah, that's what you went with.
Yeah, I mean.
No, it's all good, Nate. It's all good.
Mel should apologize. Mel should say sorry for saying that.
Mel
I didn't mean
Mel.
it.
I wish Mel apologize. Look, he doesn't need to apologize, but he needs to use the space in between his ears.
He does.
And stop threatening violence to artists and creative types because they choose to use words that he may find offensive. There's plenty of things in the world that are offensive. And artists should not be constrained by people like Mel, who's encouraging violence upon them.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's one of those things that just, and I'm sure you guys already realize this, but if that's a path you're going to go on, this kind of shit that's going to happen. And not that it's right.
You get what you deserve. You get what you're at. I'm asking for it. I should get violence upon me.
No. Nobody's saying that you should get violence.
You shouldn't get violence upon you at all for anything that you're because you choose to use a word that's authentic to a character. That's the price you pay. Oh, you got punched. That's what I'm talking about. That's culture. That's a culture that you guys are trying to create where it becomes acceptable to assault an artist because you got offended.
That was a joke. Breathe. I'm not offended. I'm just, again, this is a middle situation.
No, it's not. You get what you deserve because that is not equivalent. That is not equivalent.
Nobody said that to you. Nobody said you got what you deserve.
You guys need to go watch your boy Mel again.
That was awkward. Listen, I wish Mel could have been here, man. And
he's a good guy.
That's why I set this up. But all right, thanks you guys, John, Ethan. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. I wish they could have been here, and I'll be in touch. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. All right, later, guys. All right, we've got. I think I get what you guys are saying. Where Nate, that like you feel like he's going after your friend, but you got to remember, like he doesn't know Mel. He doesn't know Mel. I'll stick. I'll stick up for Mel.
The thing is, I don't care if I get that part. He doesn't know him. He does,
no.
But I do. You do. Different people. It's just like growing up. Somebody goes after your friend, you go back.
I know. But listen, I think if I thought that Mel needed to be stuck up for in this situation, I don't think Mel needs to be stuck up for. I don't think that guy is taking a shot at Mel. I don't think any of that. I think that you got to remember, this is a guy that's coming from a place where they're constantly getting shots taken on him for this stuff, right? So he's instantly gonna come off as kind of like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And John is who he is, so he's gonna lean into it a little bit. But that's why I wanted to have the conversation, because I wanted, unfortunately Mel wasn't here, which sucks. But anyways, it's something that I think is you're a little too worried about Mel needing somebody to stick up for him at this point. Here's
the thing, Brian. Forget the Mel part of the conversation. I think we're sideways. Like, let's just say I know you and you don't know Nate, and Nate says something that you don't like, right? And I go, hey, I get it, but Nate's cool. Like, I'm co-signing for Nate. So Nate multiple times throughout the chat has been like trying to be like, hey, that's just how Mel talks. It didn't mean he literally wants to punch in the face, and he just wanted to argue that point.
Yeah.
So and I was quiet the whole time. I'm kind of like, fuck it. Guys, like, he's trying to tell you that's just how Mel talks. Oh, if you want to threaten people, it's like, okay, we get what you're saying, and I get the literal words, but that's not what Mel means. This is what Mel means. And then we're not having it.
We shouldn't talk for Mel. That's another thing I'm saying. Mel should talk for himself. We shouldn't talk for Mel. Mel should be talking for himself. Mel doesn't care enough to, and this is I'm not taking a shot at him. I don't think Mel cares enough to come on here and take worry about this. He was just on a show and that talked about a book that was being talked about as being controversial. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, I get it. You know me. I stand up for my friends. I don't think Mel needs have people being stand up for him right now.
It's not a question of whether or not he needs somebody to stand for him.
He was clarifying the situation.
I guess
that's all. Because think about it. We had him on because it was controversial. That was the point, right? We wanted to have them on to talk and say their piece.
Yeah.
But it kept going sideways, man. Like,
I don't think it kept going sideways. I think it went sideways at the end because I think John probably wanted to lean into it a little bit, but I don't think it went sideways. I think I think it should have ended where it ended. I'll be honest, but I'm not worried about it. It is what it is.
I think there a lot of the things they said, things went sideways. Maybe during the conversation.
Like, well, why didn't? What do you think?
Like when he said "gay."
Oh,
as a negative term.
Hold on here. Hold on. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I 100% disagree with that. If that is something that I say all the time. If something, I grew up in a time period where we use that term to not as a, again, there's something to do with intent. If you're saying that term to be racist or homophobic, then that's one thing. But to say that as being, I look at that as being, saying that term as being cheesy. Oh, come on, man, that's gay. Quit. Even some of my good friends that are gay use that term on a regular basis. I don't agree with that. I disagree with that, and I'm cool if you have a problem with that, but I disagree. I don't think that's an issue.
I just think the whole, like, where they were coming from, like, it's the way that they were, especially, well, I just thought the whole thing just kind of, I don't know. It was,
I think honestly, everybody was on, they saw it. We had the whole conversation. I don't think there's any point of us continuing the conversation without them here still.
I agree.
I feel bad if they're back there watching. Guys, if you're watching, you guys want to have another conversation for sure, please come back. Brian, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you just got to be aware. That's what I was trying to say to him before he got jumped on this whole, like, oh, I sure deserve to get punched in the face. No, but you have to be aware of your surroundings, your people that are around you. Yeah, that's something we used to say in the 90s, but and I've got no which way to go, but you got to be aware. There might be people in here. They might take offense to that, especially if somebody's gay. It was used as a negative term in the context. Doesn't make it right, but hey, at the same time, you do you. So that's what I was trying to say. You're going to do these things. Somebody's going to get pissed off, and you have to be aware of it. And then he jumped on this whole, yeah, you're right, I deserve to be punched in the face. It's like, that's not what I'm saying, man. But, you're going to go and put some stuff down on paper. It's going to happen. You have to be aware of that.
Yeah. I think John probably is
kind of like one word, and then you start using other words. I think that's a problem. It's like a transitive issue. It's like boom, boom, boom. I don't know. So what do I know?
Well, it is what it is. I'm. You guys know this. I am always down for any conversation. I didn't want to keep them too long, but I felt like that.
And hit the $2.
I felt like
charming. It's true.
I felt like that conversation was over. That's why I ended it. I felt like it was petering out to a point where we were just getting to dead space noise. And to be honest, when it gets to that point, I'm gonna end it. I didn't end it for any reason other than that. And
it felt like it was the end of what we need to talk about for sure. That wasn't you rushing anybody off.
Yeah. So
I'm with you.
All right, let's get into some of the normal stuff that we talk about on Saturday nights. That being FOC. We've got some FOC stuff to talk about. Shout out to our boy Lefteros, who's always doing great FOC. By the way, shout out to Cover Price for doing great stuff and having a great tool and what they use it for. Speculation and prices and all that good stuff. They do a good job about updating that and keeping that updated throughout the week. Golden State Comics says, times change. There's a reason why these guys are in DC or Marvel. Again, Comicsgate is a hate group. Man. And I don't know. I don't agree with that. And here's the other thing, right? Because I don't agree with that, I feel like because I don't agree with that and people see this, they're going to instantly think that if you don't agree with Comicsgate being a hate group, that you're racist or homophobic. And I am far from that. And a lot of people are not that get put that on them, right? Just because they don't agree with Comicsgate being a hate group or don't agree with a political ideology. I just want to put that out there and say that you can't always judge somebody by what somebody else says. Talk to those people. All right.
Absolutely. I think Ray hit it right about my jacket.
Some of the comments in here,
I think Stein would be disappointed, but yeah.
Some of the comics in here, Brian, just to clarify, if you're reading them, I think everybody should have their own opinion, and I think damn anybody else if that's what you think. But just because I have my opinion doesn't make that the most important word. So I know there's a couple of people going, I can't believe you said that. Well, it's my opinion, and McClay has his opinion, and we'll still go out for tacos, and that's the point. So there's some final words for you.
He said he'd go out for tacos, but he wasn't going to invite you over for tamales.
Boom.
And that's what he's working on right now. See, that's not right. It's a holiday spirit.
I got you, bro. Once I get the tamales down, you know I got you, McClay.
All right, let's get into the FOC picks from our boy Left to Roast this week. Starting off with the Energon universe, you guys. We've got some Transformers stuff coming out.
Hey, how great was it at the beginning when they guys were like, he's sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Shout out to Brian Pulido and Dan Mendoza.
That was pretty good when he did it.
All right, Batman 428, Robin Lives. What is this? Is this a reprint? We're getting another fucking facsimile out there. What's going on here?
How many covers are there for this? I know there's a blank, and I know that there's this one with Robin Lives, and that's why I sent you. There's the foil, I guess, too.
I don't know. I don't get this. It says here that
who did this?
Ever wonder what the ending of the issue would have been like if readers voted for Jason Todd to survive? DC official is opening the vault to reveal the alternate ending. Now, if you guys remember, they did a thing back when this came out where you called into a telephone number, a 1-800 number to vote.
A 900 number.
A 900
it's
number.
900.
Yeah. And, it's kind of funny that I think, there was a little YouTube video at one point we went over where they talked about was it close?
How close they were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the alternate.
So I think there are three. I think there's a regular, then a blank sketch, and this I think is a foil, which I think is $7.99. Because I sent you guys the link. I think when it was listed as $799 that someone had, and I was like, "What am I missing on this foil?" But I think there are three.
But these were by DC, right? This isn't a retailer thing,
no,
right?
This is actually better than a facsimile. I shouldn't call it facsimile bullshit because this is a different story. It's calling it from the DC Vault. I don't know much about these, but I like the fact that they're releasing the alternate ending. It's almost like an Elseworlds tale.
It's awesome. Like, I can literally remember my dad coming, this is, again, 1987, 88. And my mom called me from downstairs and saying, Nathan, come upstairs. Dad wants to talk to you. Coming to the screening porch. And he was telling me about he seen on ABC that Robin was going to die. Or you got to choose if Robin lived or died. I was like, that's no way. And then getting the comics, and you got to call that. Well, I didn't tell them, but you had to punch in the 900 number. And this is just the other story they had in print they never released.
Yep.
It's amazing.
So probably going to be multiple. Did they offer this for retailers to do variants on?
No, they shot it down because we had asked right when we heard about it. I was looking in my phone. I had an idea. I wanted to do a reprint like this, but I wanted to do it of the original advertisement to call in.
Oh,
and I had a copy of it, and they told me it was a great idea, but they wouldn't allow it. Like, they were pumped about it. They're like, "That's a really great idea." He's like, "Yeah, but we can't do any retailer exclusives."
So,
on it.
and they're just doing like the regular, the blank, and then this foil cover, right? Like, they're not allowing. It's just, and it's one shot. It's those three covers. That's it.
That's it. There's no retailer incentives on any of this run because they're going to make it this big event.
Yeah, because I was asking Yee, I'm like, are there any ratios like 25, 50s for this? I was like,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Should take that idea and reprint the original ad as a ratio. That'd be cool.
And you have to be really careful because, I mean, besides Robin Lives, and if you don't read the scroll on the right,
or the DC
somebody's
Vault,
going to pick up. Yeah. They're going to pick up the wrong one.
Well, it also has the DC Vault at the top thing, which is good.
Right.
So, cover C. This is cover C, the Mignola cover.
Yeah.
Foil Foil. Moving on. Bloody Dozen #1. This is cover A from Image. It's a supernatural horror adventure installment of The Shrouded College. I don't know what that means. It says here, as with Hell to Pay, this Charles Soule property is already optioned and in development for NBC by Seth MacFarlane. The concept looks cool. You know I'm picking one of these up. So there you go. Does anybody know the concept about this? Covered by Will Sliney. Let's take a look at the concept on this. All right. Bloody Dozen. Bloody Dozen, a Tales. Okay, here we go. Space vampires. In this new installment of The Shrouded College, Charles Soule and Will Sliney's supernatural horror adventure saga, 3 down-and-out astronauts are tasked with the ultimate heist, breaking a group of deadly vampires out of a space prison orbiting the sun. Apollo 13 meets Blade in this killer thriller. Well, there we go.
You had me at space vampires, so I'm in.
Well, they had me at Skull on the cover. So
there you go.
That. Yeah. All right. Next, we have Guma, The Beginning of Her, #1. A young girl escapes from a drug syndicate and discovers an ancient blade. Story by Ji-Hung Lee. Ooh, look at that. Ji-Hung Lee doing writing his own stuff. So
yeah, Guma was Guma series was his first. This is the next, I guess, volume of it.
Oh, okay. I got to check out that first series then.
I have some. Next time we meet up for tacos that Wonderworld's not invited to. Just kidding, Dennis. I'll hang out with you anytime.
Star Wars High Republic #2. This is the volume 3 of the High Republic, right? This is a Phil Noto cover right here. It's the main cover. First appearance of Brother Lycos, Child of the Storm. I don't know what to think. I'm not a fan of...
I don't... Is it the thing behind it that's like the weird donkey that you can't really make out if it's flowing? I don't know.
That design isn't hitting, but it could be cool if they clean that up.
This first issue saw Kevin Scott Kevin Scott introduced us to Brother Lycos, a character making his first cover appearance on this one. So there you go. Star Wars Revelations #1 main cover solicitation states this issue will introduce new characters. So more new Star Wars characters that everybody goes crazy for. It's an interesting cover.
How many more do we need?
I can't keep track, man.
It's hard.
I like these Saturday morning adventure books. They look interesting.
Did that take you back?
Yeah.
Sarah Meyer.
What was your brand of cereal as a kid when you ran to the TV and sit on the carpet because Mom would yell at you for eating on the couch?
Do you remember when the turtle
Captain Crunch
cereal would come with the little cereal bowl, the turtle cereal bowl?
Yeah.
It was wrapped in
Yeah.
Yep.
First appearance of Mr. Og in this one. So it must be like a Mitzelplick type character, I imagine. Let's see what it says. Another offbeat original animated series character making their way into comics, this time Mr. Og. Here's the Transformers #1 third print, covered by Gerald Perel.
Have you guys read
versus
issue 1 yet?
Starscream?
I really liked first. I thought it was really good. Really good.
See, I'm not a big Transformers fan. It's not that I don't like it. I just never got into it. So I read it, and I was really like, I think I really like this, but I felt like a poser saying it.
It's almost like they took the original Transformers, but changed how a little bit of the origin or how they kind of got here. But it's good. I think there's a lot of things they could do. I mean, like,
yeah.
Man, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. And then Void Rivals, the 5th print of Void Rivals #1, another Energon Universe book. So there you go. Story by Robert Kirkman and art by Lorenzo Di Felici.
Yeah, that's a cool cover.
So shout out to Lefteros and Cover Price. Let's end it by going to our boy Billy, Economics and Comics. where he dropped a little hidden Easter egg last week. I don't know if you guys saw that. We have 2 Saturday night shows in a row that have just gone completely off the hinges. Last week, the Epic Nation stuff and Nick GQ with his kept on calling us young gentlemen, beautiful young gentlemen. So Billy decided to put a beautiful young gentleman variant in here. Yeah. So, all right, here we go. You got the Madness number 5. Is
that the Misfit or the Astro Zombies?
Yep.
Misfits. Yeah.
There you go. Amazing Spider-Man, J. Scott Campbell Ski Chalet variant. That's terrible. Original X-Men 1, John Romita Jr. homage variant. There's the Peach Momoka Guma beginning of her. Birds of Prey Zerdy. I really like this Void Rivals number 5 second printing. I love that cover.
Yeah, those layouts are good.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. They're trying to copying they're doing the different faces.
Yep, E for each one.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos has some killer covers this week. We'll go over those after we're done with this. More Void Rivals. They got the number 4, the second printing. Spider-Boy 2. Yeah. Void Rivals 3, third printing. Void Rivals 2, fourth printing. Look at all these. Jesus. Green Fairy Tales. That's an interesting cover. Look at that. Uncanny Spider-Man, the Momoko Nightmare variant. What do you guys think about these Nightmare variants?
I'm just not a big Momoko fan.
Yeah.
I think if Momoko does something, her Ghost Riders aren't that bad.
Hey, McClay, since we're talking about cool covers, can I show you something my daughter just brought me?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
she just did a painting like on our kitchen table, and she just painted this.
Oh, wow. Good
Isn't
job.
that great? She's like, "Do you like my painting?" I was like, "Let me see that." This is on canvas, guys. She painted it with what's this?
What cover is that going to be?
What cover is this going to be? Right?
Because I want to buy the original art right now.
Dude, this is killer. Thanks.
This is fantastic. How young? What's she? Like 12?
I don't know. Well, she gets talent from somewhere. I guess that's her mom.
How old is she at?
She's only 16.
Jesus.
Isn't that crazy? She just walked in. She's like, "You like this?" I was like, "Give that to me. I got to show them." That's crazy.
Are they reprinting this original X-Men? What is this original X-Men number 1 book?
It sounds like a new story.
The OG 5 on all new adventure. Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Iceman, and Angel, the first and greatest heroes to bear the X-Men name, once traveled into their own futures and reset the course of history. Now another multiversal mystery calls them forth. When the dust settles, one hero will remain trapped in the world as we know it, with shocking surprise guests and heart-pounding twists and turns. Christos Gage and Greg Land kick off a story that will shake the whole MU.
There you go.
Didn't
so
they already
new
do
stories
this
with the original?
Yeah, didn't they already do this where they had like some time slip? I feel like we're just telling the same stories again. Bendis X-Men are back. Is that who's doing this?
I don't
Bendis?
know. I've always tried to get into X-Men, but they're always doing weird stuff. X-Men Blue, X-Men Red, X-Men Omega. We're back in time. We're back in the
the
future.
current X-Men run is really good. Really good.
Which one's the regular run? Just
So you got to be on like X-Men 28. Just literally the regular X-Men. And the problem is they make them all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It makes it hard to figure out exactly which. Am I picking up just X-Men, or am I picking up? But the X-Men series right now it's very good. Kitty Pryde's really, man. After the Hellfire Gala.
Marvel Gods number
She's
3, number 2 came out this week. There's the Peach Momoko Nightmare variant of Amazing Spider-Man. Not good. Titans World. That's interesting. It's going to be a lenticular on that one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Detective Comics number 1079. Jason Alexander cardstock variant. It looks good. Here's the 405 facsimile, another one. God.
I like the Evan Eagle or Cagle, I'm sorry, Evan Cagle art on the Detective Comics. It's because he doesn't do the cardstock. He does the regular. I think they're really nice.
Wow, look at that. Wonderland Child of Madness. Jesus. It's a crazy cover. That Guma is such a...
It's freaky.
Yeah.
His eyes.
Yeah. I don't like these video game variants, but I bet you a lot of people are buying them. Ooh, look at that. That Dr. Aphra. That looks good.
That is a dope perspective. I like that.
Yeah. That does look good. It's a great looking cover. Very cool. All right, there's Dr. Aphra.
Yeah, can you see my dog in the background? She's wrestling her bear. I'm really trying to listen to what you're saying, but I see her like body slam it, and I'm like, oh my god.
Ooh, look at this
Sorry.
Vader cover. That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Damn. A Mark Lamming variant. That's a good one. That's not bad. Spider Boy. What these ski chalet variants are weird, man.
Yeah, well, usually there's like a theme, but they're just doing skiing. It was the theme.
Yeah. There's a Lobos variant for Doctor Strange. Oh man, Lobos is really doing a good job with his art lately. That is nice. I like that. I like whenever he puts. I like he's doing more backgrounds. Good shit. Hallows Eve, another great character, but this is weird. This is the second printing Michael Dowling variant. That's interesting.
It was actually interesting. Hasbro just came out with their first Hallows Eve action figure last week. Yeah, it looks pretty good, but yeah. Looks good.
Too,
it's just
like,
it's funny. It comes out right after Halloween. I'm like,
that's cool.
Again, you guys, just the timing, and it's back on the plastic, kind of like the thick card. Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looks good. It's just they should have come out with it like beginning of October.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they say who's going to sell that? Who's carrying it?
Hasbro.
Okay.
Yeah. So at Target, it'll be on clearance in about.
Yep. It'll be in Ollie's in a couple weeks.
Oh God, Ollie's, yeah. Man.
There's the Dodderman variant for Gods 3. Doctor Strange number 10. That's a beautiful cover. Wow.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like the black eyes.
Those all black eyes always scares me, man. There was always that tale about the black-eyed kids. You remember that? There's like the black-eyed kids showing up to your door and ringing your doorbell and asking you for something.
You know, how good the storyline would it be if like actually Doctor Strange became evil? Because like what would the Marvel Universe do to stop him?
Well, that's what
really
What If is all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Daredevil Black Armor 2. That's an interesting Sabretooth cover. Sabretooth's badass, man. I wish we'd see more Sabretooth
He really
stuff. Yeah. Wonderland Child of Madness. That's a nice cover. Love the Mushrooms. Ooh, look at this one. Holy shit. Wow. Grim Fairy Tales. It is what it is. All right, here we go. Scarlet Couture. There's the Guma Momoko. Ooh, look at this. That's interesting. Ugh.
Creepy.
It is, right?
I don't know if that's like having Marilyn Manson or Wednesday as daughters. Wow. Or all of them.
Negaduck. That's an interesting cover. Look at that. That's cool. More of those.
There's some really good covers for that.
Jay Lee.
Like even before number 3. Yeah. Man.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Red Sonja. Here's the Fire and Ice It's a cool cover. Space Between. Ghost. Oh, look at this cover. This is amazing. Holy cow.
Oh.
The hell is that? What's the title?
This is House of Slaughter, number 20.
Ooh.
I don't read the story. I've heard how strong they started and how weak things have gotten, but wow, that cover is just fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Dallas Turtles.
Yeah, more Turtles, My Little Pony. Uncanny Spider-Man number 5, the Lee Garbett variant. Ooh, look at that. That's a good cover. I always loved Mystique's skull
Mom
belt.
and son.
The skull belt. I always thought that was so cool. Oh, so we got more Star Wars. What is this? Stormbreaker variant. Nick Klein. Let's see here. Gods 3. Ron Lim Cosmic Homage variant. Old school.
The Cosmic Jellyfish.
Yeah. Doctor Strange. There's the Nightmare stuff. Actually. Let's see here. Ryan says, did Substack move impact the collecting market with artists, writers? I think so. Well, they did a thing where they put out a lot of books for the collecting market specifically, right? Like they do those gold variants and stuff where they send if you're signed up for them, which is good. So, all right. Why did I close that? Close tab. Let's get back to this. Cyberpunk, Daredevil. That's a cool. Look at that. That's a great cover. Holy shit.
Cyberpunk covers are usually pretty solid.
Yeah.
You get some good ones.
These we're gonna go and look at all the Cap Wolf covers here in a second because they're so damn good.
Love the Witcher stuff.
Yeah. That's a cool cover. Look at that. It's a sick mask. I hope that's a mask. Saturday morning stuff. You got a pretty cool Watchmen homage there. Let's see here. Titans Beast World. This is the next big storyline for the Teen Titans stuff. Look at that. Bjorn Barons. Ooh. Those starfish are kind of creepy, dude. I don't know what that is. There's a word for that. Nope. Pissed somebody off. Scorched. There we go.
Oh yeah, Rogue Sun.
Look at that.
Green Lantern Santa.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of rings would he have? Oh, he's got all and candy canes and bells.
Jesus. It is a cool
Great.
cover, though.
That is cool.
That is a cool cover, man. That is nice. There we go. I think we're almost done here with the FOC. That's a nice Green Lantern cover. Look at that. Holy shit. That's
It's
beautiful.
everywhere.
Wow. Who drew that?
Zermanico?
Wow.
That's new to me. New artist to me. Man, that's beautiful. Look how gorgeous that is.
Yeah.
Faceless Family. That's interesting.
And the thing is, that's Green Lantern 6. Like, it's taken that title so long to get out. Number 3, came out in October, and it's been.
Ooh.
God,
Look at that patina. Holy shit. That's beautiful. Detective 1079. Why are they doing an Aquaman variant on Detective 1079? Here's your... is this the one you were talking about?
Is that when the movie's going to be coming out?
Yeah, probably. Here's the Kegel
I mean,
one.
the only reason. Oh, God. I mean, like, I say that, and, like, every one of his covers is really, really fantastic, and that's just plain Jane.
Yeah.
Evan, you're killing me.
Yeah. Danger Street, number 12. Ooh, look at this.
That's an old school vibe.
Yeah, I like that. Captain Ginger, The Last Feeder. That's interesting. Here we go. Look at this. Bloody Dozen Tale of the Shrouded College. That's that book we were just talking about. Look at that cover. Holy shit.
That's dope.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Kale New cardstock variant. Batman
read that in
Robinson
Antarctica.
DeMeo. There's a one shot for Batman 428. There's the blank cardstock cover, so you can have them. Yeah.
The con, that'd be like, if you see Magnolia, that would be awesome to get drawn.
And that is it for FOC
Yeah.
for this week. I want to real quick go look at those Cap. What was it? Cap
Hey, Ant.
Wolf.
Does your son draw too? Just your daughter?
God, no. The boy's got not an artistic bone in his body. Can't sing, can't draw, can't paint. He can barely write letters. Like, he's a mess. But he can run routes like nobody's business and catch everything thrown at him.
Even better, because the Cardinals need all the help they can get.
God, don't they? Ugh.
I would really appreciate if they would win like 2 more games so the Giants could
get them.
Look at that cover.
That's
dude.
doable. That's doable. That's great.
Holy shit, that's
wow.
amazing.
Ryan Brown. I like Ryan Brown stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
That's amazing.
I like the guy in the back going to shoot him. Holy shit.
They're all good. All these Cap Wolf
Man.
covers are great, man. That's Cap Wolf number 2. This is the 1 in 25? No, the 1 in 25 is the Anceletto for number 2. Might as well just go through all these. These are beautiful. This has the this is the one we talked about on the Hot 10 the other week. The Kirby wraparound 1 in 50 hidden gem.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Holy shit. Look at that one.
I like how they went back to his OG shaped shield too. So they hit it on that.
Yeah. All right. By the way, you guys, we do have our Discord is open. I believe it is open. So if you guys want to call in and talk about whatever, you guys can call in. As Selden said, the link is below to call in. It's funny. I see the chat just going absolutely crazy for like half that. So I didn't say a word. But
yeah, I'm trying to pay attention, but this chat is entertaining as hell.
Yeah. It's funny. All right. You guys got any pickups? No pickups?
Like pickup lines? No, I've been married a long time.
So
I got one. I think Vinny will like you. So
all right, let's see it.
Okay.
Shout out to Vinny, my boy Vinny Kumar.
You know who's got some good pickups though? And I wish if Laura's watching, she's been started to collect Dave Stevens covers.
I saw that, dude. He's one of my all-time favorites, man.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's hard for me. So many comics roll across my face. It's like, I don't know what to zero in on anymore. It's almost like I see so much. I don't know what I like. Is that weird?
Say that again.
was saying, well, since I deal with comic books all day, they roll across my desk all day, different covers, this and that. It's almost like I don't know what to zero in on and collect. Like, Laura's like, what do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of different things, but Laura zeroes in on specifics, and it's just so hard for me to go, okay, that's what I'm going to buy a lot of.
Yeah.
I think it's always like, especially if you, like Bryan, I talk about G.I. Joe, like the stuff he grew up on. There's just that touch you just can't get rid of. And I was going to mention, so I got three things. One is I was watching a documentary, and I started buying these, and I think there's something to it. It's this new Power.
Oh, so
January,
cool.
And you guys probably know way more about this than I do.
Yep.
But this is actually so if you look at like issue 3 and 4, they mention Super Mario Brothers is coming, but this is the first issue it's actually documented
with Link.
Yeah, and so there's so obviously you have here on the cover where it says "Don't miss Super Mario 3," but in here they actually, this is the first visual of Super Mario 3 that was ever published.
So a little tidbit about that issue. That was one of the issues. That issue right there was one of the issues that came in the Nintendo Power Trapper Keeper set.
Really?
Yeah, I have 3 of the Nintendo Power Trapper Keeper set. 2 unopened.
Did they
and
have
1
a different
opened.
like?
It's newsstand. There's nothing on it. I'll go find them. I'll try to find them
Okay.
next show.
I bought a couple of different ones, and I thought that was really cool. So I figured you were way ahead of the game. You and Vinny, and I figured you guys knew that part, but I had never heard that before. But I didn't have a NES. I had a Sega Master System. So
nice.
We were talking about the Virtua Fighter on the Hot 10 the other night from the Sega Saturn stuff, and I think Stein was talking how he had the Sega Master System.
Well, so you realize the Saturn, how they messed up the launching, or Japan. It's such a mess with Sega. I mean, like, God, they could never get anything right. But so I sold my GPK Nasty Nick skateboard I pulled.
Oh, really?
And I got this.
What'd you sell it for?
It was $5. I got this, and I got short fuse.
Nice.
Basically, trade off, because I paid $125. I got 2 boards, and I still have one
unopened
sitting right here. I haven't opened, and I bought the other one, so I trade this because I need short. I love short fuse, so I was really pumped to get.
That's rad.
Short fuse. So it took a while, but. And then the last thing is, have you seen the Tetris movie on Apple?
No. Oh yeah, the documentary. Yeah.
So, I didn't have an NES, but I had a Game Boy. So I had to get
bro, that's awesome.
Now it's qualified, so it's not sealed, but all the contents inside are. But I was like, man, I've got to have one that's I can just put somewhere up in here. I was like, this is it.
Me and my brother, this is gonna sound funny, but it's the truth. Me and my brother had got the Game Boy, and we kept it in the shitter in the bathroom, and so we'd always play Game Boy on the shitter, dude. And it was having an iPhone before, everybody's sitting on their legs are going to sleep because they're reading their phone. But back then it was Game Boy, and we only always played one game. Even when we had multiple ones, we only played the Legend of Zelda game on there. It was like Link to the Past.
See, I never played
good.
that.
Oh, it's so good, bro.
I played Tetris. I played DuckTales. I played Super Mario. I played Castlevania. But I remember getting this. It was fantastic. Like, so my wife and I still argue. So she brought her original NES when we started dating. So let me ask you guys. All right. So if you're playing Tetris, how do you judge who's better? Is it by lines or by score? Because we would go all night long, and you can have more lines and you can have a higher score. It depends on what you want to do.
I don't know. That's a great question. I didn't fuck around with Tetris that much to care about it.
I was all about lines. Like Tetris is about like how many lines you get. It's not about score. She's like, no, it's about score.
The only place that I played Tetris was on the computer back in the day. My buddy had an old computer, and you could play it using the number pads to move things, and we used to play it on the computer back in the day.
Dude, I was literally reading through this, and it was showing you the different Tetris parts, and it quizzing you on how you would transform them and where you drop them. And I was sitting there, I'm like, I would do this. And I was turning to the next page, seeing if I was right or wrong. Right, wrong. I was like, yeah.
Laura wants some. She's like, I challenged Bryan to a Tetris off. We play Tetris at my house, but we put it on a specific mode. It's basically you have to bury your opponent, and it speeds up. So eventually when you get to the top and it goes, then you're dead. And it's best of 3. It even keeps track. So it gets pretty intense around here.
That's funny. Steve Borok. I keep calling him Steve Borok, even though it's Steve Bork. He says, thought maybe had Kyle's drapes back there. Nope. Kyle's drapes are specific to Kyle's. By the way, shout out to our boy Kyle.
So, Laura, just because you're watching, lines or score, what is more important than Tetris? You are the tiebreaker.
Yeah. She probably doesn't even care. She's like, I don't care, just because.
She's going to go by score. I know it.
Yeah. That's funny, dude. Ryan says, I made I made a comment about the Dreamcast. And Shenmue was the best game of that generation. Where we had to ask, do you know where to find any sailors? I don't remember that game. That's for sure. All right. Good shit, you guys. We're going to go jump on the Discord to go argue behind the scenes and have some fun conversations behind the scenes, I imagine. So come jump in the Discord, you guys. We love to bullshit in the lounge, live show lounge in the Discord, where you guys can find us there. I'm going to go roll up a fat blunt and argue with some people, I imagine, for some while. But when I say argue, I don't mean in a bad way, because all these people are my friends. So it's always fun to have a good conversation. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So that being said, love you guys. We'll see you soon. We're out.